Tonight on the Black Channel. Well, folks, here it is panic in the streets as the temporary protected status order has ended. The Supreme Court has ruled despite some of the bad guys trying to stop it. Nope, the temporary protected order that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and friends were hoping would reshape and redefine things. Oh boy, they're telling them that nope, that's ended. You can start deporting them because temporary means temporary.
And deal with it, nigga.
That's basically what they're saying. And boy, it's a bunch of folks upset. And I want you all to really keep track here and take note of the folks who are really upset. I want you to take the most note of who's really upset because believe it or not, it's not really the Haitians who are the most upset, although they are very, very displeased about this. Let's go ahead and go to the Washington Post. And tonight's program, let me tell you, is jam-packed full. So you better strap in for it. Let's start with the Washington Post here. They had an article that they did. They had a video they did about this.
It breaks my heart. You know, it's very, I have lots of my close family members that are CPS holders. And they're depending on this because they have kids to feed, and they've been in the U.S. for a long time. So.
Okay, now that's the first thing you get right there. First of all, dusty as hell. But second of all here, temporary. When they've been in the U.S. a long time. Sir, how long is temporary supposed to last? This is like having your bummy ass nephew come over. He's on drugs. He's on the pipe. He was talking about he was just needed a temporary place to stay. 8 years later, that nigga is still on your couch. And what is temporary here to these folks? What do they define as, which part of temporary did they either not get or not accept or not understand? Or what part of temporary did you not get? So they're temporary, and he's like, well, they got family and kids. Okay, it doesn't sound like you're trying to be here temporarily. It sounds like you're trying to stay. So he just went straight past temporary. They got, we were allowed, this will be temporary, and temporary is supposed to be temporary for life. And this is what happens when your bummiest and dustiest stood up here and start mooching off of you.
My close family members that are CPS holders, and they're depending on this because they have kids to feed, and they've been in the U.S. for a long time. So this is literally their home. They don't know how they're going to provide for their families because people work jobs. They have work permits that depends on TPS.
Some of them, they like to live a terrible life when they go back in the country. They go back to country, terrible life. And they have to start over again, like zero.
They have to start from zero. What about they work hard? I thought they was work hard and this, that, and the other. So how's it terrible life? It sounds like we're talking past each other.
The so-called international community has always chosen our leaders. So they have, they cannot deny us a great degree of responsibility into this catastrophe that Haiti has been. So returning Haitians to Haiti is returning to a life of certain calamity, abuses or death.
Okay, now, in case you all didn't know this there before, this guy here is a Haitian radio host. So he's a Haitian radio host. And what he's saying is not wrong. The European colonial powers, the Western powers, America, oh, they've had the full court press on Haiti the whole time. Let's be very, very clear about that. Oh, he's not wrong. Somebody in the chat room said DJ Tether. Damn! But, he's not wrong. He's not wrong in what he's saying. Everything he's saying is absolutely anatomically and factually correct. Oh, you are right about so much you're saying there, sir. Which makes it all the more perplexing that when your feet touch soil in America, you have had animosity and hostility towards the foundation that made it possible because you see, you are in the grip of an unjust system and an unjust empire. And so you see, when an unjust empire runs wild on you, They don't take care of you after they've destabilized you, dominated you, raped you, pillaged you. That's not the way that works. You're dominated. You're under the boot. You're at their mercy, and they have none. So you see, that's the circumstances you're under. See, you're confused. Well, they done us wrong and they took what we got. Yeah, that's what empires do, particularly unjust ones. This isn't justice, this is power. They taking what you got. And they leave you with nothing, and then they come and check back in periodically just to make sure you ain't got nothing. So you've confused the fact that we were able to stop them here and started transferring that to that's a benefit you supposed to get. You see, you had your heads on straight during the days of Toussaint Louverture and Dessalines. You had your heads on straight back then, but in the words of our immortal ancestor, Dr. John Henry Clark, he has to remind us that so many of you saw yourselves as black Frenchmen. Oh, I got to read the mail. So many of you saw yourselves as and see yourselves as and identify as black Frenchmen. And so you see, when it was time to serially cut ties, what you have to do is link up with somebody else, and you made it a point. I want you all to understand what the devastating part is about identifying as a black Frenchman. This is what many of you didn't understand, and let me go ahead and make this logic connect for you here. You see, the problem with seeing yourself as an immigrant is that when you come around us, black folk in the foundation, when you come around us, you don't see yourself as one of us. You see yourself as an immigrant. So even if they're Asian or Middle Eastern, you see yourself as an immigrant first and black, not really at all. Well, if you see yourself as a black Frenchman, that means you see yourself as a European. They see themselves as dark-skinned Europeans who are being done wrong by the mother country. Ain't that right, Jamaica? We're members of the British Commonwealth, and we're not being well served by the crown. So don't you all be deceived about what their grievance really is. Their grievance is that they don't feel like they're being done right by the mother country, France. So that's what their real beef is. How do we get the mother country to do right by us? And so when they see you as the foreigner and the problem. That's what they see you as. You're the issue. And really, they need to see about getting things together as Europeans is what they really want to do. That's the real goal. So just recognize where the problem really stems from. And let me be clear, you're about to hear a whole bunch of evidence tonight. I did not bring receipts. I brought invoices. You're about to see a stream of evidence tonight to bear that out. By the way, in the chat room, Faceless, don't worry, you'll be required to call in when I open up the Zoom. So patience, you'll be required to call in. Always leaving up to tethers to try to jump the damn line. Damn! And no respect for anything. I just see no doors. Let me over this wall, nigga. So it becomes that. Everything they do is just bum rushing the door and just knocking things in and stealing whatever you can grab. And okay, that's way of life right there. They look at the rest of it. What's wrong with you niggas? Why you not just take these over here? Why don't you just take this back where you come from? I'm European. So that's going on right there. That's going on right there. Not to be left out, everyone's favorite Haitian tether, Roland Martin. Oh, you knew it was coming. Fair use. Boy, doesn't he look like a big brown spud? What? All right. Well, the jokes write themselves with this nigga. But in any case, so this guy here, Roland, in case you all were wondering if he had something to say, yes, he did. And I'm so glad that he spoke about this, because if you want to know what he identifies as, of course, he's most agitated by this decision. He ain't saying a damn word about the Syrians. He's concerned about the Haitians. So Roland's letting you all know what car he rides in. He rides in the Haitian car. And this piece tonight, clear-cut evidence, he rides in the Haitian car. I want you to see who it is that he's going to, and who it is that he cites to defend the Haitians. Please understand, he doesn't go to the Haitians for this.
The extreme court sides with Donald Trump when it comes to deporting Haitian and Syrian immigrants. In a 6-3 ruling, the court overturned a lower court decisions and sided with the administration. It could affect more than 350,000 Haitians and 6,100 Syrians working and living legally in the U.S. under temporary protected status. Nearly 1.3 million people from 17 different countries are currently in the U.S. under temporary protected status. And immigration activists warn that today's ruling empowers Donald Trump to target even more of these people. Andrea Flores, founder of Securing America's Promise and former DHS and White House advisor, joins us right now. I'm glad to have you here, Andrea. This is obviously devastating. And these are people who came here due to humanity.
This is obviously devastating to whom?
Nigga, what?
This is obviously devastating to whom? It ain't devastating to me. How many of you are devastated by this? I want to know how many of y'all are sitting here right now. Damn, this is devastating. How many of you got up this week and said, boy, have you seen the Supreme Court? I'm watching it. I'm watching it minute by minute. How many of you were devastated by this? Because Roland says this is devastating. I need a show of hands on all the devastated people. All the folks who are devastated, give me the red X emoji in the chat room. To everybody who's not devastated, give me the fireworks emoji in the chat room. If you are devastated, give me the red X. But if you're not devastated, give me the fireworks emoji in the chat room, because according to Roland, this is devastating. I'm just trying to figure out who are the devastated people. Who are the devastated people that he's referring to?
This ruling empowers Donald Trump to target even more of these people. Andrea Flores, founder of Securing America's Promise and former DHS and White House advisor, joins us right now. I'm glad.
Okay, so Roland goes to another immigrant. So he goes to Miss Flores, who appears to be a white Latina. So, yeah. I just wanted you all to keep track of who he's going to discuss defending the Haitians. Who are the people who are most concerned about this? And then you start hearing things, and this all squares the circle for you and gives you the 720 degrees of comprehension that you'll receive absolutely nowhere else. Listen carefully.
To have you here, Andrea. This is obviously devastating. And these are people who came here due to humanitarian crisis, and Donald Trump wants these folks out. And let's be real clear. Donald Trump wants black people and people of color out. They welcome white folks from other parts of the world.
Okay, Karine Jean-Pierre welcomes white folk into her bed.
What? Damn!
Okay, Roland just keeps leaving that part out. I mean, the immigrant class are the ones who get off the damn boat. Oh, where are the white women? Whether it's in America or the UK or the Caribbean. So the first thing they do is look for white folk. White folk come showing up. They're not holding a damn grudge in Haiti. When white folks show up in Haiti, they come out dancing and singing and what you need, boss? What you need, massa? Now all of a sudden there's a problem? Not really. No, it's not really like that.
They absolutely do. I mean, the racial animus issues in this case, it was very clear that the Supreme Court did a very shocking thing and essentially discarded any evidence that President Trump had been racist against Haitian immigrants, despite all of the statements that most Americans have heard him say about the Haitian American community. And this decision won't just impact Haitians and Syrians. It could actually open the door for up to 1.3 million immigrants who are here legally to lose their status.
Okay. Well, all right. So far, so good. Okay, I'm picking up what you're putting down. All right, ma'am. Well, I'm so glad. Say less. Say less. Say less. Okay, what's you? Say less, ma'am. I'm all for it. Say less. So far, so good.
And it will allow President Trump to take it away without courts being able to review it. So it is a devastating decision. And to exactly your point, it is targeting immigrants who are from countries that the president has openly called undesirable and has made many derogatory remarks about. So it's a really, really sad day for the country.
And of course, you have folks who are running for office who understand the implications of this decision.
I want you all to pay attention to this next part, because if you want to know what the root is of so much of the arrogance that you've seen from the illegal alien immigrant class, this Roland goes straight to it. So he knows, because he's been working and collaborating with the bad guys. He's about to show you all what him and his immigrant kind really think and what it really is that emboldens them so much.
One of the Republicans who is on a very tight, leash when it comes to his district is Mike Lawler. There are many Haitian immigrants or folks of Haitian descent in his district. This is what he said. While I have never disputed the ability of the president to end temporary protected status, I strongly disagree with ending Haitian TPS at this time.
Yeah, folks. Now, for those of you who know, Mike Lawler is a Jewish white supremacist. Let's just make that very clear. He's like Randy Fine. He's one of these Jewish white supremacists. And yet, on this issue, by the way, with illegals in general, Mike Lawler is actually very much in favor of illegal aliens. What? Him and that female Latina representative down there in Florida, both of them want to work together. Both of them Republicans. Both of them want to work together to give mass amnesty. Both of them are working on a law. They want to pass a bill to give mass amnesty. So these are two Republicans. But Mike Lawler, who has nothing but vitriol and venom for black people, and all of a sudden Mike Lawler he's big on Haitians here. But here's the part I want you to understand. This is a white politician who's about to go on and on. Take a look at how long his comment goes here. He's about to go on and on and on and on about why it is that Haitians are so necessary here. A man who's had nothing but absolute venom and hatred for the descendants of the American slaves, and yet for these illegals, all of a sudden, he's the biggest cheerleader, and he's going to go on and on. I wonder why.
First, the situation on the ground in Haiti is a humanitarian and political disaster and continues to warrant an extension. The State Department has a level 4 travel advisory telling all Americans to evacuate and not travel there precisely because the gangs are in charge of the country, engaged in gun and drug trafficking and kidnapping innocent Haitians.
Okay, the United States government created this issue. The United States government has created the issue and continues to recycle and renew the issue roughly every 10 to 15 years. Actually, every 5 years. This is a direct result of the United States government's actions in Haiti, and yet Mike Lawler doesn't say a word about it. So he acknowledges all the problems, which, by the way, you never hear him talk about here in America. You never hear him talk about this kind of thing among us here in America. So him and the United States government are responsible for engineering these issues in Haiti. He doesn't say a word about the hand that the United States plays in causing this to happen. So he talks about the problem, and by the way, take a look at this. So what you're really doing is indicting the United States government, Representative Lawler. You're really indicting the U.S. government with this. When's the last time that Mike Lawler took to the floor of the House and spoke like this on behalf of Haiti, by the way? So he's saying this in a statement, but when has he ever taken to the floor of the House to go and campaign for this? Like he does for Israel. He hasn't treated Haiti like Israel at all. But yet he's defending it and saying all the things that we've been saying for decades. Why is he not in law fighting against the Trump administration and whatnot to say this? Where's he been all this time to say this as an elected politician? He hasn't been. And yet he sounds so effusive in defending them, doesn't he? I wonder what it's for. I'll tell you.
Then he also says, second, of the 350,000 lawful Haitian TPS holders, roughly 1/3 work in our healthcare system. Immediately shutting off TPS will create a crisis in our hospitals, nursing homes, and in the I/DD community. And this is the thing, Andrea.
Okay, now I want you all to remember something here. When you ask yourselves, how is it that these folks, these illegals, are so damn bold and so damn arrogant and so damn narcissistic and sitting up here, I mean, top of the line, dusty as hell, and sitting up here trying to act like they really special or running something? It's like, who gave them that idea? And these are the folk who gave them the idea. See, when they encounter the white folk in politics or whatever, they're sitting there telling them that we need more like you. So they're hearing it directly from the horse's mouth or other orifice. They're hearing it directly from the white folk. White people in corporations, white people in the government, white people in positions of power. They're the ones telling them, oh, we need folk like you. Oh, you're much better than those descendants of the slaves who are always causing trouble. We need more just like you. You're the kind of people that we need. So they come up, that's why they think they can be so bold in your face. This is the problem right here, nigga. You do not understand. The white folks, they love us. This is the problem. They love us because we work and we do good. And if you would just do good too, then you wouldn't have this problem right here. That is the problem. They're not racist. They are not racist. The problem is you, nigga. They don't have a problem with black people. They just have a problem with you. Do y'all get that? They don't have a problem with black people. They just have a problem with you, niggas. They have a problem with you. They don't have a problem with us. I'm black. I'm from Haiti. They don't have a problem with black people. They love black people. They just don't like you lazy niggas. Now you know where it comes from, where it really emanates from. Now you know where that attitude really comes from. Oh no, this isn't just one example. Don't worry, Roland's gonna give us more. Hang tight.
Off TPS will create a crisis in our hospitals, nursing homes, and in the I/DD community. And this is the thing, Andrea, I have continued to say that people do not understand. They do not understand how integrated our society is with immigrants in this country. We're talking about critical areas. I'm going to read a quote in a minute from the Ohio governor, Mike DeWine. He knows that if Donald Trump decides to send in his ICE boots into Springfield, Ohio, that is going to completely destroy the economy there, because it was the Haitian immigrants that actually restored the economy of Springfield and in the housing, because they had lost some 30,000 people over 2 decades.
Nigga, please.
If you're going to be a propagandist, this is how pathetic these tethers are. If you're going to be a propagandist, at least be a logical good one. Folks, how do you devastate a society with 30,000 people? 30,000 people is enough to, quote, rejuvenate. 30,000, that's it. I mean, he's acting like the number was 30 million, 30,000. First of all, we don't know how many it is because they're scurrying around, but he's telling you all you lost 30,000 over the course of 2 decades. And then he's telling you that all these Haitians, everything is wonderful in Shangri-La and they've revitalized things. How many of you have wanted to go to Springfield, Ohio? How many of you have heard about how things are popping in Springfield, Ohio? Show of hands. How many of you heard that things were popping in Springfield because of the Haitians? The thriving job market, the glorious nightclub scene, the clean neighborhoods. And how many of you heard about how things in Springfield, Ohio are popping because the Haitians showed up a few years ago? Where's that press release? Because according to Roland, that's a thing.
That's right. I mean,
This nigga don't even look. He don't even look honest. Look at his face. He's damn near about to crack a smile. Even this is the face of dishonesty. Jason, stop interrupting. I can't help. This is the face of dishonesty right here. He doesn't even look sincere.
this decision is devastating for the economy. It's going to hurt the construction industry.
How many times you two gonna say devastating? Damn it.
That's right. I mean, this decision is devastating for the economy. It's going to hurt the construction industry, the healthcare industry. It's going to make the cost of living crisis much worse because TPS is a type of immigration policy that Americans generally support, right? Immigrants come forward, they're vetted, and they work
Lie.
legally, and they fill jobs that other Americans cannot fill. So if
Lie. Okay, folks, let me tell you something right now. These are big ass liars, and when you have no good low lives like Rolling the Bowling Ball, Tetherface Martin sitting up here, jobs Americans don't want, Americans won't do. How about me and the rest of the young black men from Shreveport, Louisiana, who were trying to get construction jobs 30 years ago, 20 years ago, and can't get any? They were building skyscrapers, doing renovations to Independence Stadium, building the casinos. We couldn't get any jobs. They were happy to have us frozen out of the economy. These white companies, because the government would give them the contracts, and the white companies we don't have to hire the black folk, we'll hire the Mexican illegals. We were there to do the damn job, only when they rewrite the history, nobody wanted to do that. We ain't got no labor. What about all the black, me and the rest of the young black folk? I'm not telling you what somebody else told me. I'm telling you I was one of those young men out of high school, and that's exactly where I went. There was plenty of construction going on at the time. In Shreveport, there was plenty of construction going on at the time. However, in places like Shreveport, Dallas, Houston, Miami, Atlanta, DC, everywhere you go, if you black, you can't get hired. Even today. You'll have one or two black folk and that's it. That's not a skilled trades issue. That is we brought in illegals specifically so we can freeze you out. And then these lying asses come back talking about what you don't want to do and what you wouldn't do. You were sitting right there. Oh no, you weren't there. So this is what they used to do back in the broadcast television era. Back then they get on TV and, well, yeah, you all just don't, Americans won't do that. Now that we have a microphone to speak about this, those of you who've been there and were there or are still there, yeah, this is the time for us to speak up about that and remind you, oh no, I was there, and it wasn't a matter of a lack of us doing anything. It was never extended in the first damn place. It was never extended in the first place, and that was always the point. That wasn't accidental. They froze us out, they locked us out, and now they're coming back decades later. See, you all didn't want those jobs anyway. I'm sure Miss Flores is a completely impartial, objective observer. I'm sure she is. I'm sure she's not biased about this at all.
they're not, they fill jobs, create jobs. Their kids are in school with our kids. And this is.
They fill jobs, create jobs. You mean the scam jobs? You mean the nursing homes and the daycare centers with the scams? You mean that, ma'am? Is that what you're referring to?
Communities, but they're not. They fill jobs, create jobs. Their kids are in school with our kids. And this is just going to unleash more scenes like we saw in Minneapolis and Chicago and in Los Angeles.
Ohio Governor Mike DeWine. Today's decision is a legal decision. As I've stated in the past, the policy to remove these individuals from this country is a mistake. Go to my iPad, please. As a result of today's ruling, the over 10,000...
Y'all always know the threat when Roland says go to the iPad, so it might go... It might stay PG-13, then again, it might get XXX rated LGBTX. So I always try to freeze when I hear go to the iPad. My blood runs cold for just a moment. Last thing I'm looking for is for a fella to start swinging his booty meat on the camera. So it looks like we okay this time. But when I hear go to the iPad, I always freeze for a moment just in case it's about to become an episode. Just in case Roland hits got the wrong thing on the iPad. So it's just, okay, it looks like we okay today, y'all.
The policy to remove these individuals from this country is a mistake. Go to my iPad, please. As a result of today's ruling, the over 10,000 Haitians who have been living in Ohio, mostly in the Springfield area, legally through TPS, will now be here illegally and will be subject.
Okay, didn't this fat jelly roll built bastard, this big M&M built bastard, didn't he just tell you about 30,000 people? They've revitalized the place with just 10,000. How much revitalization are you doing with 10,000 people? He's acting as if they done built damn me Mayberry or something. Like these are a bunch of middle class people who done built the suburbs. They're sitting up around here grabbing eating everybody's damn cats and dogs. And he's sitting up here acting as if they done built the Hamptons. I mean, I guess you have to lie to keep that going, but yeah. 10,000.
To immediate deportation. This also means that while these Haitians were working and contributing to our community and economy yesterday, it is now illegal to employ them.
Okay, they were illegal the whole time, as a matter of fact, even with Joe Biden's shenanigans. They've been illegal the whole damn time.
The situation in Haiti could hardly be much worse. The
situation in Haiti can actually be a whole lot worse, actually. Believe it or not, it actually can get a lot worse.
It is now illegal to employ them. The situation in Haiti could hardly be much worse. The violent gangs run most of the country. The government barely functions, and the economy is in shambles. Further, our federal government has an advisory against traveling to Haiti, and our Federal Aviation Administration prohibits U.S. carriers from flying there because of the danger the planes are being shot at by the gangs. But more importantly, changing the immigration status of these individuals is not in the best interest of the United States nor Ohio.
I wanted to go ahead and play that for you all because I wanted to remind you here. That sounds very familiar, doesn't it? Well, remember, this was Mike Lawler's statement. The situation on the ground in Haiti is a humanitarian political disaster and continues to warrant an extension. The State Department has a level 4 travel advisory telling Americans to evacuate and not travel there, precisely because the gangs are in charge of the country. Well, that's interesting. It sounds like this Republican and this so-called Democrat both got together with the same damn talking points, doesn't it? You know, they've gotten together with the same damn talking points. Well, I'm sorry, DeWine's a Republican, rather. I mean, these two white men. These two white men have gotten together with the same damn talking points. Isn't that amazing? Now, none of them talk this way about us. When George Floyd got murdered, they didn't talk this way about us. They never speak this way about us. And yet they both got the same talking points for the illegals. So when you wonder, how is it that these Haitians and all these illegal aliens, they talk so bold and they get so flip at the mouth and act like they're so valuable when they didn't bring any value? Who put that thought in their heads? The white folk who brought them here. Oh, they're the ones putting the battery in their back. They're the ones who told them, you're exactly who we need here. I mean, they're giving them social support, political support, moral support, logistical support, financial support, while telling you and me what we're not supposed to get. I just wanted you to see exactly what they're doing there. So that you see, it doesn't matter where you're at. If you want to know where they get this in their heads and get the idea that that's what they're supposed to be doing and we owe them or whatever, and that they so great and so fly and so wonderful, who the hell told them this? These folk here, the white folk, that they told them this. Now, to add to it here, everyone's favorite little bigot, Megan Ku Klux Kelly, she decided to weigh in on this, and boy, oh boy, has she set off a firestorm. She has gotten, like 10 million views by now, I think. It was over 9 million, probably at 10 million by now. It's been mentioned everywhere. Megan Ku Klux Kelly decided to go ahead and weigh in on this Haitian temporary protected status ending issue. And boy, listen to what she sets off for them.
Go home. Get out. We know our country's better than yours. That's because we filled it with our work ethic and our culture and our values. You being here only dilutes it for us, those who built it and live it. And half of you people, more than half, you won't assimilate. We don't want you. We don't care if you're offended. Get out. Go home. Go back to fucking Haiti. Sorry. I'm thinking about our friends in Ohio who've been dealing with these TPS Haitians for years now, who are drunk driving all over their towns and killing people. This is the whole cats and dogs thing. Like, they don't.
Okay, Megan, figure out which white supremacist slogan propaganda you want to give. Are they killing people or are they killing the pets? Because she said they're killing people. I mean, the cats and dogs thing. Or is she one of these white women who considers cats and dogs to be people? What? Yeah, it's just Megan don't know which lie she wants to tell or what propagandist ideology she wants to give out. So she said it's people, and this I'm talking about the cats and dogs thing. So the cats and dogs are people, or the people are cats and dogs, or Megan, you might want to get yourself straight first before you go on this rant.
TPS Haitians for years now, who are drunk driving all over their towns and killing people. This is the whole cats and dogs thing. Like, they don't want to live like Americans live. And this was supposed to be it was supposed to be temporary help. And it's turned into another backdoor way of allowing someone permanent residency here. And they take advantage of all of our public services. And
okay, so of course, suspect people charge Charles Blow. They're all upset about it and whatnot. And that doesn't bother me. What Megan said, I mean, she's a white supremacist, of course. That doesn't bother me, though. It doesn't bother me because, like I say, I mean, if the Haitians wanted to have camaraderie with us, we would have 5 decades of camaraderie to be able to fall back on. We would have 5 decades of interaction, 5 decades of that. Let me explain something to you. Let me say something. Let me go ahead and just say something here right quick. It's going to upset a lot of folks here who don't want to hear this kind of stuff here, but I'm going to start this off before I go any further with it. You know, if you go to a place like New York City, you find a Haitian chick, you can't find a one of them that hadn't laid up with a non-black man.
And deal with it, nigga.
Oh, I'm saying that. She get off the plane or get off the inner tube from the Caribbean. No. No, you go check that sexual rap sheet. They went looking for the first non-black piece of whatever they can get their hands on. That's textbook. That's standard operating procedure. They don't fool with us. They don't fool with us till they need something. But when they're by themselves and got their options, it's like, oh no. No, I'm talking about black. I'm talking about Asian. I'm talking about Middle Eastern. When you see these Arabs with their little corner stores, the little Haitian chicks, and there they go diddy bopping in there too there and go get pregnant. So we need to just keep it all the way real. Oh yeah, Florida, same thing.
Auntie, chill.
Oh, by the way, I ain't forgot about you, Florida, same thing. Same thing for you down there in Florida too. Oh, I ain't forgot about you. We ain't forgot about you. So just understand, we don't have 5-6 decades of camaraderie to look back on here. When they get off the plane, it's straight cooning and buffooning. It's straight that. I mean, that's the rule. That's not the exception. Anything else is the exception. But the rule, no. The rule is, yeah, let's go ahead and see if we can go hang out with them. So no, they don't have 5-6 decades of camaraderie that they can point to and talk about what we've been doing. We ain't been doing the damn thing. Roland Martin's over there made a career of undermining us, trying to undermine us and fail. They've tried to make whole careers out of that. The issue that they have is it hadn't worked out as well as they would have liked, but they've been trying to make whole careers out of it. So the thing that bothers them is that it ain't been as easy as they told themselves it was going to be. That's the issue. Now, there are other people who have weighed in on this as well. Some of the old folk who used to be on cable television news and on MSNBC and stuff, like Steve Schmidt. He used to be one of the people who was always on MSNBC as one of their contributors on their panels and stuff on Morning Joe and some other shows. Well, Steve heard what Megyn Kelly Steve heard about this and whatnot, and I want you to hear what he had to say.
She is the worst of this country, and she is a reflection of its original sin. She is that white woman whose face is contorted in rage in 1957, spitting on a black child trying to get to the schoolhouse.
Okay, no lies detected there. You are absolutely correct in every word that you just said about Megyn Kelly. She is certainly a blood relative to, a spiritual blood relative to Carolyn Bryant, and the godmother, the mother of white supremacy in America. She certainly is that. So no lies detected there.
She is the twisted face of rage of the white woman, dismayed that a black college student would dare to sit at a lunch counter. Nobody knows what's in another person's heart.
We know exactly what's in Megyn Kelly's heart. She tells us all the time. First of all, she ain't got one, but we know exactly what's in her heart. You can never know what's in her heart. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. We know exactly what's in hers. There's no book.
Nobody knows what's in another person's heart, but when it comes to Megyn Kelly, what spews out of her mouth is rancid, vile, bigoted, low down, cruel. The monetization of cruelty, and it's fetishization. The meaner you are, the colder you are, the more hateful you are, the higher you fly in Trump's America.
Okay. Let's go ahead and back this up for a moment.
Is a reflection of its original sin. She is that white woman whose face is contorted in rage in 1957.
All right, let's deal with a couple of things here.
Of this country. And she is a reflection of its original sin.
Okay, so she is a reflection of the original sin of white supremacy. All right, well, I can't argue with that. Here's the problem, Steve Schmidt. Her having an issue with illegal aliens, you're not going to lump them together with us and say that because Megyn Kelly represents white supremacy against the foundation, the descendancy of the American slaves, that somehow you're going to smuggle illegals into that and say, yes, Megyn Kelly is wrong about the descendants of the slaves, which means she's also wrong about the illegal aliens. We're going to lump you in. We're going to lump the illegals in with the foundation. No, you ain't. And I want to remind you all again, yet another white person. Roland Martin knew what the hell he was doing. They're cobbling together their white people to tell you that, oh, these are the folk who are co-signing. What makes the illegals think that they're okay? Because these are the white folk that they talk to who co-sign, who defend them. All over the place. Never came to our defense. Trayvon Martin gets gunned down. They didn't give this full-throated defense of us. They've never done that. But for these illegals, here they come with a veracity and in a manner they never did for us, because this is not new from Megyn Kelly, Fox News, and the rest of them. This isn't new. They've been doing this. However, these illegals must be a very valuable tool for these folk to be coming out like this. Now, some of them were coming out one way, but others of them been coming out another. Case in point, there's this guy here, Tim Miller. I don't think it's the Hollywood host of the Bulwark podcast, MS Now analyst. This no good sapsucker lion ass piece of so-called left wing filth. He was upset about what Megyn Kelly said also. He was upset about it too, but look what he said. The number of Haitians who enriched our culture more than this frigid monster is endless. New Orleans is Mobile without them. New Orleans is not a Haitian enclave. I'm really sick to death of this because I'm hearing this really sick, attempted propaganda and historical revisionism that's just popped up within the last year of folk trying to Haitianize New Orleans, Haitianize Louisiana. Let's be very clear. Yeah, there is some, a little bit of voodoo heritage there, but that's an offshoot, folks. Ain't no Haitian festival. I am a lifelong resident of Louisiana. I ain't no damn visitor. New Orleans, Baton Rouge, New Orleans Parish, Plaquemines, you name. I'm not a damn visitor. I'm a lifelong resident. If Louisiana had a Haitian heritage, nigga, we'd be talking about it. We talk about Spain. We talk about France. Well, the Haitian thing is not a major milestone. That's not some major pillar that all of us gather around. We got the Haitian heritage. No, we don't. That's something that has been acknowledged simply because, it's there. But Haiti is not a major cultural milestone or a major cultural artifact of Louisiana. Neither the South, nor the North, nor the Gulf in the middle of the ocean. No, it isn't. Which is why you didn't have this conversation before now. You can't point to a single festival. You can't point to a single personality. You can't point to a single anything. You can only talk about voodoo. That's all you can talk about. You can't talk about anything other than there. A church, a religion, it ain't there. It's not there. So now they're trying to, at the last minute here, fabricate some Haitian heritage here that doesn't exist. Now they're starting to invoke the word Haitian. It wasn't here before now. So no, you're not going to fabricate out of whole cloth some non-existent Haitian origin myth from Louisiana. I ain't no damn visitor. I'm not a tourist. My family goes all the way back to the soil of this place. No, we don't have some major Haitian heritage in Louisiana. There are some Haitian artifacts. You can point to some Haitian artifacts. But that is not something that we carry around. We Haitian, right? Ain't none of that. Yes, Creole folk will tell you they're not Haitian. So anybody who tries to glum that together, the Creoles, I got Creoles in my family. No, there's never been a Haitian discussion. I have Creoles in my family. I got kinfolk, North Louisiana, Central Louisiana, South Louisiana. There is no Haitian discussion. No matter which side of things you want to come at it from. No matter how far back you want to go, there is no Haitian discussion. So to have some Yankee, or wherever he from, is this Russian? So you're going to have some Russian interloper, some homosexual Russian interloper is going to sit up here and try to tell us that there's a Haitian origin myth out of Louisiana. If you don't, sit your ass down and stop speaking on my soil. That's like me talking about the origin of black folk in Moscow. He would be offended. Who the hell is he to sit up here and try to speak on our name? Try to tell us what the hell it's gonna be. New Orleans is not like Mobile, Alabama. No, it is not. But then again, we make everything pop everywhere we are, including Mobile, sir. So be careful how you talk about Mobile, Alabama. Be careful how you talk about that. We get it popping wherever we are, including Mobile. So watch your step and watch the lip. For somebody who lives on the Gulf Coast, as opposed to some Russian descendant interloper attempting to wing his way through his fan fiction of the Gulf Coast, I have spent my life traveling up and down Interstate 20, Interstate 10, fighting through flooding. Lake Pontchartrain Bridge. All up and down there. Anybody who's had to go through there, you know full damn well, there's certain times of year you see the water rising. It's like, okay, you traveling through southern Alabama and southern Mississippi on the freeway and you see the water coming up, you get nervous. I've been doing that summers and winters my whole adult life. You are not going to teach me a damn thing. So to see somebody sit up here and start fabricating something because you're trying to make some point, you are not going to make your point by disinheriting the foundation in Louisiana. You're not going to do that. We don't have a Haitian foundation in Louisiana. We don't. And what you're trying to graft onto it isn't Haitian. We don't tie it to a Haitian heritage. Even to the extent that we are aware about voodoo, we're aware of it, but we ain't claiming Haiti when we do that. Let me explain this to you, Mr. Miller, and any other jackass out there who tries to do that. When we talk about voodoo in Louisiana, we're not claiming to be Haitians, sir. We are not Haitians. We are not representatives. We're not claiming to be representatives. That's not what we're doing. Even to the extent that you get folk who talk about it, they are not claiming to be Haitians, nor are they claiming to represent Haiti. And this is, you're sitting up here trying to imply the lie that that would be the case. We don't need anybody sitting up here trying to tell us what the hell we are. If you want to stick up for Haitian illegals, you need to just do like these white men in Ohio. Just come up the middle like them. Hey, we need all these illegals up here. Say that. But don't sit up here and think you're going to invoke some non-existent Haitian origin myth in Louisiana and claim that's what it is. You stay off my soil. And the whole damn Gulf Coast. You find something else. I'm very offended by this. What I see is any sort of movement or effort to try to Haitianize Louisiana. As if we ain't all been standing here the whole damn time. There was none and is no Haitian movement. You can't point to a single black uprising in Louisiana that the white folk are like, watch out for them Haitians. That's not Haitian leadership. That's the soil. As it's always been. You can't point to a Haitian enclave in Louisiana that's running nothing. You can't point to the Haitian side of New Orleans that everybody got to go to because they run things. You can't name it because it's not there. You can do that in New York only to a certain extent. Y'all, you can do that in Miami. You can't do that in Louisiana anywhere. There is no place in Louisiana where the Haitians run the yard. There is no place on Louisiana soil where the Haitians run the yard. There is no place where you got to check in. There is no place where you're looking for approval. The fact that I'm saying this to you all is your damn proof of it. We ain't got to check in. We don't got to get approval. I'm not worried about getting denounced or any damn thing else. We ain't got no Haitians we got to go through to get, approval or acknowledgement from. It ain't a thing. That's not dissing nobody. I'm just saying I'm not going to fabricate us having influence as Louisianians on Haitian soil. Don't fabricate that Haitians got influence on Louisiana soil. Let's just keep it 100. And let's just keep it straight. We don't run the yard in Haiti, and Haiti don't run the yard here. Haiti is not checking in with Louisiana, and Louisiana ain't checking in with Haiti. So don't tell me what the hell we got from them. Dude, you're not going to make that up. There's not a single one of you who comes to Louisiana for anything. You come down here for the food. You come down here for the music. You come down here for the turn up because Louisiana, because the white supremacists ain't got a whole lot more than that. It's just, you want to talk about third world country. The white supremacists are fabricating that here. But in any case, you come down here for that. You come down here for the marching bands. There's not a one of you who said, got to get down to Louisiana for the Haitian. There's not a one of you who've come to Louisiana talking about the Haitian spot. If you walk down a random alley and stumble upon something, that's when you did not come to Louisiana talking about, okay, let me talk to the tourist bureau to see where the Haitian area is. Hey, where's your Haitian festival? There's not a single one of y'all that has come to New Orleans, come to Louisiana looking for that. And if you go asking for it, you in trouble because you're not going to find it. There's nobody who can say, oh yeah, down the block down on St. Charles. No. It ain't there. Never was. So I know you can't come looking for it because we ain't got it. If you're not coming for the foundational food, we can't really help you. I don't know what the hell you came for because there's nothing else. You want the Haitian stuff? Nigga, get on a plane. Go to Louis Arm Airport, get your ass on a plane and go down to Miami. They'll fix you up. You can go to Miami to get your Haitian fix. You can go to Miami to get your Haitian culture. And by the way, how much voodoo they doing in Miami? Lie. By the way, folks, and just in case, I just want to remind you of something there. Just in case you thought that voodoo thing was the throwaway line, how much voodoo they doing in Miami, by the way? Whole lot more Haitians down there. How much voodoo are they doing down there in Miami, by the way? Just in case anybody wants to think that that's some major cultural milestone or some major cultural marker, how much voodoo them Haitians doing down there in Miami? Asking for a friend. Oh, I'm sorry, I already know. Been there many a moon. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, am I debunking a bunch of damn lies tonight that the rest of you can ask? Very simple. I got a bunch of y'all listening to me tonight who live in Florida. You ain't never seen the voodoo thing kicking off and they ain't chopping off the chicken heads or whatever. They ain't doing none of that. Anybody who's been to Miami knows that's not a thing. That is not a thing. Okay, so don't miss me with the voodoo is the Louisiana culture thing and Haiti. Miss me with that. You can miss me all the way. Bypass, exit ramp, nigga. It ain't like that, people. Those are things you put on t-shirts and those are cute little slogans when you posting comments online. It's not a real thing. It's not a real thing. It's not something that's actually happening. So no, don't sit up here and try to stick some Haitian jacket on Louisiana. North, south, central, at all points in between. Don't try to stick no Haitian jacket on us. We've never claimed to be Haitians. We never claimed to be a part of Haiti. We acknowledge voodoo and you acknowledge voodoo's geographic origin, but we never claimed to be the Haitians, inheritors thereof, the heirs. We just acknowledge that's a thing, like Christianity. They don't want to hear that. Well, folks, to make matters worse, you figure folks would have learned something. Matt, the white supremacist weenie Walsh, just showing you that there's a reason why these jackass white supremacists, they talk their racist garbage all over the place, but they are clowns and morons. They stay on their little internet shows spewing their sewage and their trash there. What they do is they desperately avoid a place with somebody with half a fact to refute them with. They're excellent at quote unquote debating middle schoolers and brand new college students. What they don't want to do is talk to anybody who's even slightly informed. Well, Matt Walsh at some point has gone on breaking points. And he went on there to carry the white supremacist banner about Haiti, which really by extension, because he wants to come to us. And boy, just like, what's his name? Dave Rubin got his ass handed to him on Jubilee by being clueless. Oh, Matt the weenie Walsh. He went on there and boy, it was terrible. He's going to start backtracking himself. It was embarrassing.
Look at Haiti. What part of Haiti are you saying to yourself, we need more of that?
Beaches.
Well, we have more beaches than them too, right? Don't we?
Right.
We're a much bigger country.
Right. We don't want a marine invasion and occupation of the United States that constantly decapitates governments and takes the money out of the country.
Oh, okay. Damn. So old Ryan Grimm right there decapitated Matt right out of the gate and said, by the way, you don't want, them sending in Marines and decapitating our government, like America has done to Haiti all these times. Don't worry, folks. You're going to get all the information that you need right here tonight. I want you to pay attention to this to just get you up to date on it here. Decapitating and debunking white supremacists is easy when they actually put somebody in front of them who will. The only times they get away with this garbage is when they get themselves protected and shelled off from it. Once they come face to face with fully informed people, it goes bad and goes bad quick.
Well, we have more beaches than them too, right? Don't we?
Right.
We're a much bigger country.
Right. We don't want a marine invasion and occupation of the United States that constantly decapitates governments and takes the money out of the country and saddles us with
we don't want the Clintons
debt
either.
from a revolution. Yeah,
right. Although I don't. So you're saying that
we wouldn't want to be like basically a colony that the entire West spends 200 years punishing after the Haitian Revolution.
I get that. I understand that, but also at a certain
we
point,
wouldn't want that. No, yes,
we wouldn't want that. But I would also say that that's not entirely why Haiti's in the position that it's in. I mean, at a certain point, as a country, you have to stand on your own 2 feet and take care of yourself. And
but at what point is that? They elect Aristide and we overthrow Aristide. Then they elect Jovenel Moïse. Jovenel Moïse is assassinated a bunch of people with American connections, and then we install in 2021, like the United States installed the prime minister that we just ousted. Like, so we could say, okay, yeah, you got to get over the 200 years ago, but like we're still doing it.
Okay, yeah. How do you get over the 200 years when the 200 years is continuing? So folks like Matt Walsh will sit up here and say these slogans. Well, you got to pull yourself up by your boots. Just because we've been undermining you for centuries, that doesn't mean you can't. Why haven't you just gotten over it? Because you're still doing it. It's not like you did it 200 years ago and you stopped. You're still doing it. Haiti only paid off its debt to France only less than a decade ago. So, yeah, you're still doing it. So these white supremacist slogans and polemics that they throw out there, very easy to debunk if they will allow somebody in the room who has half a few facts of modern news. Anybody who has current news knows that this is what was going on. So Matt throws this lie out there, and he's just been depending on nobody's ever going to stop him while he's talking to say it, because this is why they prefer to talk to other white supremacists, because if you screw around and end up in a place where they can stop you and say something like this, you're not talking to high schoolers anymore. It just goes bad and goes terrible.
Is assassinated a bunch of people with American connections, and then we install in 2021, like the United States installed the prime minister that we just ousted. Like, so we could say, okay, yeah, you got to get over the 200 years ago, but like we're still doing it.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm not in favor of. I'm very non-interventionist.
Lie. You lying sack of degenerate, poorly dressed trash. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the same. He's non-interventionist. This is the exact same Matt Walsh who said that he approved of America overthrowing Maduro in Venezuela. He also said that he would fully support America taking Greenland. We're talking about in the last year, Matt has said this. Not 5 years ago. He's fully in favor of colonizing, intervening in other people's governments, other people's affairs. He said it this year. Trump went into Venezuela. He gave the 2 thumbs up. And then Greenland, a continent that's barely inhabited and doesn't do anything to us, he said Trump wants to take Greenland. I fully support expanding empire. Remember, he said that's a fully legitimate function of government, is expanding empire. Expanding your territory and expanding empire is a fully legitimate function of government. People, does it get more quote unquote interventionist than invading people's countries? Is there anything more interventionist? So When his white supremacist talking point got debunked, he then starts claiming that he's non-interventionist, which is a damn lie. He's already been disproven, but that's when you know the white supremacist is lost. When you start lying like this, it's like, okay, because you were fully supporting intervening in all these other places. Now all of a sudden you're not that. Okay, just go ahead and say you tapped out. Just say that instead. Don't start making an ass of our program by you lying. Just go ahead and say, yeah, you got me, and just tap out. Just go ahead and say that. Just say white supremacy, hail Hitler, and just tap on out.
Yeah, you got to get over the 200 years ago, but like we're still doing it.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm not in favor of. I'm very non-interventionist in my policies, so I'm not in favor of most of the things that we're doing in other countries.
We just made the new government in Haiti in a hotel room in Jamaica, and then we insisted that whatever government we made in Jamaica had to allow Kenyan troops to come in under the flag of the UN in order to go to war with the gangs.
Yeah, I'm not interested in. Right. If it were up to me, I'm not interested in doing anything in Haiti. Like let Haiti be Haiti and take care of them. That's sort of my whole point here. Let them take care of themselves and their own problems. I'm also not saying that there's like never a scenario where we would let someone from Haiti into the country.
Okay, well, he's completely ignoring the fact that, hey, America's been meddling and undermining and puppeteering Haiti. He doesn't mention that at all. He just goes straight to, well, I mean, they got to take care of themselves. Okay, what about your meddling with them? Because your hands are all over them. He doesn't say anything about that. White supremacists are pathetic. By the way, for anybody who thought that his documentaries were so great and he was some master strategist or some master thinker or whatever, yeah, joke's on you, Jack. If you watch one of his clown-ass documentaries and thought that he was some great debater or some great mind, and boy, if only you could get him in front of the libs and debunk things, it's like, yeah, the joke was on you, dummy. To anybody who thought this guy was anything other than yet another brainless bimbo white supremacist, the joke was on you, kid. The joke was on you. Debunked in literally less than 30 seconds. So it's very clear how Haiti got in the situation that it's in. The real thing is about how Haiti has stayed in the situation that it's in. However, what I want to tell you all is that things are changing, and some of the stuff that used to fly, it is not going to be flying quite so easily going forward. That's the thing you need to be aware of here. It's not going to be flying so easily going forward, so be aware of that. I want to get into something else here in just a few moments. It's going to take me a little bit to do that, so I think I'm going to save that. However, there's one thing I do want to touch on, a little bit of housekeeping that I need to do. For those of you who may not be aware, it was announced that Tony Brown of Tony Brown's Journal has passed about 10 days ago, actually. So the news is a little bit slow on that, but Tony Brown has left us. It's a marker to those of us who are getting older. I have to remind those of you who are not half a century older. For those of us who came up under PBS as children, watching PBS, there were a number of things that changed after the civil rights movement, and what was put on television was one of them. Now, we're not going to get tonight into the fact they hired so many psychologists to get programming for us and so on and so forth. We're not going to get into that. But Bill Cosby and a number of other people, Bill Cosby, Richard Pryor, some other folk there, go back through the archives of PBS and you will find that a lot of those folk got their early starts by dealing in PBS or being a part of PBS. And Tony Brown was one of them. What it proved was that anybody who tried to tell you that the Ed Bradleys and the Bob Laws and the Tony Browns, they proved that it wasn't that there were not qualified black folk. It was that you were practicing white supremacy and black folk were not allowed. Tony Brown was one of them folk I'm talking about from day one. Walked right in the front door, set up shop, and it was black excellence from the very beginning. Tony Brown could hold his own with the best of them and the rest of them. I've always gravitated to that kind of thing. You see, I understand in the internet era, any jackass with a microphone or a cell phone can go ahead and crank up and start streaming, and I mean just babble absolute drivel. I understand that. And even in broadcast television, there's quite a bit of that too. Having competent people who are actually knowledgeable and informed, that's not as common as I would like for it to be, who have facts and figures and knowledge about it, which is why individuals like me gravitated to the Dr. Claude Andersons. We gravitated to the Bob Laws. We gravitated to the Dr. John Henry Clarks. These are folk who you could sit them in front of professors at Yale and Harvard, and they're not going to be made a fool of because they made up a bunch of stuff. These are folk you could sit down in front of politicians, governors, and they're not going to be made a fool of because it's very obvious that they don't know the issues that they're talking about and don't know the details. As so many people in radio, Breakfast Club, happen all the time. That wasn't an issue with Tony Brown. Tony Brown was smart. Tony Brown was savvy. Tony Brown was intricate. Tony Brown listened. Tony Brown represented his people well. Tony Brown exhibited to the world that distinct, sophisticated black excellence that we talked about forever. Somebody said Gil Noble in the chat room. Speak on it. You said Gil Noble. Absolutely. That's the cloth I'm referring to right there. The Tony Browns, the Gil Nobles. When you heard them, when you saw them, these were people who understood the facts and the figures and the history. You weren't going to sit in front of them, make a fool of them. It wasn't no, oh, they just hired you because you black and you don't know something. They're ready. The Ed Bradleys, they're ready. And Tony Brown showed us exactly how it was supposed to be. He was sharp. He was articulate. He was concise. He was informed. He was masterful. He had presence. If Denzel Washington was a news host, he would have been Tony Brown. Tony Brown exhibited everything that I wanted to do. At presentation, represent the people well, the articulacy, the knowledge of the events and the knowledge of the subject matter. That, as far as I was concerned, Tony Brown was the total package. Total package. And that is exactly what I hope one day people will be able to say that I was worthy of that legacy. I would never be worthy of a Tony Brown or a Gil Noble. Forget it, ain't gonna happen. But at the very least, I've strived to be worthy of their legacy. And that extends to the Neely Fullers. That extends to the Neely Fullers and the Dr. Francis Cress Welsings. Y'all, do you know how many folk we sat back and watched, man? We saw them. They used to be on the Phil Donahue show. Dr. Francis Cress Welsing was on Phil Donahue back when that was the biggest thing on television. For those of you who are not old enough to remember, that was the show on television for talk shows back when talk shows were the biggest thing. Dr. Francis Cress Welsing and Gil Noble and Tony Brown. And I mean, I guess this is just an artifact of getting older, is that eventually you're going to have to preside over them passing. I mean, that's just an inescapable fact of life. However, with that being the case, I want to just take a moment to acknowledge the life of Tony Brown. This was a man, longest running show on PBS, or should I say program? Longest running program on TBS, on CBS, PBS. This man, I mean, you want to talk about a work ethic. You want to talk about a guy who was dedicated. You want to talk about a fellow who was about that. Back when the internet was first becoming a thing, Tony Brown set up his website for that. I mean, he was on top of this stuff. Even as he got older, he wanted to be at the cutting edge of everything. And I've tried to be that kind of person myself, but I know how to do it because I watched men like him do it. If you want to know where I got it from, if you want to know where the game was picked up from, I picked it up from cats like Tony Brown and Gil Noble and Bob Law. I picked it up from them. Can't be no slipping in your game. When you sit down in front of the white supremacists, yeah, you have to be able to talk a certain way and whatnot, so that folk, they'll try to sit up here and pigeonhole you a certain way, and you're going to make sure that, oh, no, you're going to have to catch all this work. That's exactly what it needs to be. It does not mean that I agreed with literally everything or necessarily everything, but as a presentation and as a broadcaster and for what he represented, this is the passing of an era. He was in his 90s. But this is the passing of an era. And hopefully our generation is going to be worthy of that legacy, because that's a very rich one he left us. These are outrageously huge shoes to fill, so just forget about filling it. Not going to happen. But what we can do is honor those shoes. And that's what it's about. So to Brother Tony Brown, we know how to do it today because you showed us when you got on television. There wasn't anybody really before you all. When you got there, you were ready. And because you showed how it was done, you made it so much easier for us. The model was set. The model was set. And now we just got to follow in your footsteps. So rest in power to Tony Brown. We're never going to be worthy of your legacy, but hopefully we will be worthy of following it, if nothing else. We're going to take a very brief commercial, non-commercial break here. When I come back, we're going to touch back on this subject matter here, probably take a few of your phone calls here and more. This is the Black Channel.
Be the teacher, knowledge on the block. Got the kids learning, minds open like a lock. Books and skills from the east to the west. Bringing education, yeah, we're simply the best. Classes on fire, brains burning with desire. Innovation driving like a tire through the mire. Math, science, history, we got the whole range. Kids hitting new heights, teachers making a change. Used to be the teacher, stacking up the grades. Future bright shining, no need for no shades. Got the youth thriving, moving up the ladder. Smart and sharp, brains growing fatter. Lessons so lit, yeah, they stay in a blaze. Every mind sharp like a sword in the haze. Mr. B in the house breaking knowledge chains. Education kingpin, we repping the gains. Used to be the teacher.
Order yours today to experience all the benefits of Ash Kickin' Body Butter. With skin so smooth and soft, you'll thank us for it. Shop Ash Kickin' online. That's ASHKICKIN.com.
Hi, this is Brenda Starr, creator of Poetry with a Purpose and author of the book Pressed But Not Crushed. Pressed But Not Crushed is an anthology of political poems that address current and historical issues in American descendants of slave population and African American population. The book describes slaveries and its residuals, Jim Crow segregation, social depredation, and other relevant issues to American descendants of slaves and African Americans, including the current political climate that does not address our issues.
This is the Black Channel. I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, the Black Authority. Very glad to be with you all here this evening as we are discussing the panic is in full swing. Temporary protected status is ended. Haitians will be getting rounded up even more now as they go. Trump is going to be in office for another 2.5 years, so dodging the bullet is out the window. Totally out the window here. But just to show you that this is not localized, this is actually not localized. There's a whole bunch of folks out there that are asking questions about this kind of thing because whether you all realize it or not, there's a hidden hand that's at work. There is a hidden hand that is at work that is causing these kinds of things to occur. I'd be remiss if I did not bring you back to Africa. If you want to know what's going on, by the way, even on African soil, illegal aliens have become an issue even on African soil right now.
Nigerians come here as students, majority. So I'm just trying to paint a picture of how they come in as student visas. So there's a young...
Oh, that sounds familiar. They come here on visas. I wonder who set that template that folks are exploiting.
So I'm just trying to paint a picture of how they come in as student visas. So there's a young boy who passed away. I don't know how he passed away not too long ago. So Nigerians are trying to get money for him to go home. Or that boy who tragically passed away as an Uber driver. So he came in the country.
Well, he was killed. He didn't pass away.
No, he was killed.
He was killed.
No, it was a crime issue.
It was a crime. Yes.
Let's
no, I'm just saying he was killed.
No,
that was crime.
Killed because
no. It was crime.
It was
by
a crime
somebody
issue.
in the car, a driver, a passenger that he killed.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And that was very tragic. Nobody advocates for that. But when they found out his documents, he came as a student. He never went to study a day in his life. And when he was now trying to work, he was working using someone else's identity. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I'm trying to paint a picture of how people come into the country. So there's I think they said about 4,000 student visas had been issued. And all of these people are not students.
Oh, man. Now, as you all know, I've told you here for decades now, I've been plugged in. I'm plugged in on some of these African groups on Facebook, on Twitter. So I'm still plugged in about a lot of that. And I just wanted to let you know that, by the way, in South Africa, they're noticing, hey, something looks a little bit familiar here. Whole lot of that going on, and something looks a little bit familiar. That's the kind of thing we're taking a look at. So there are other folks who are noticing that kind of thing going on. Now, who are these folks who keep trying to slosh people around like that? And you sitting where you at, and next thing you know, somebody's jumping up to come slosh people over on your end of it. They're handing out, quote, student visas, but then you start having the same issue where they're handing out visas and nobody's regulating anything and all this old garbage going on. So, yeah, that kind of thing right there, keep an eye on that. That kind of thing right there, that kind of sticks out to you. It's like, okay, wait a minute. Wait a minute now. Keep an eye on that. Now, before we go any further, I want to go back to something here. Remember that video you just saw me play from Matt Walsh getting his ass handed to him over Haiti? By the way, epic fail for you, Matt. You should be embarrassed. And so those documentaries were made to make you look masterful, and what it really just showed is that, yeah, you just talk to people who don't know things and then edit your way. So if you actually had a real interview, it would just go disastrously on first contact. So another brain-dead white supremacist. Who's shocking surprised at that? However, I also posted something else that I wanted you all to see. So Megyn Kelly made her comments. And by the way, what I want to do, I want to...
over a dozen years.
I want to play this part again. I want to play this so you hear the whole thing, okay? Because it's actually a little bit longer than the one I played for you before, I believe. I want you to hear exactly what she had to say here.
And look, this has been going on for over a dozen years. Go home. Get out. We know our country's better than yours. That's because we filled it with our work ethic and our culture and our values.
We? We? Don't worry, Megan. I'm going to come back to that in just a moment.
You being here only dilutes it for us, those who built it and live it. And half of you people, more than half of you, won't assimilate. We don't want you. We don't care if you're offended. Get out. Go home. Go back to fucking Haiti. Sorry. I'm thinking about our friends in Ohio who've been dealing with these TPS Haitians for years now, who are drunk driving all over their towns and killing people. This is the whole cats and dogs thing. Like, they don't want to live like Americans live. And this was supposed to be it was supposed to be temporary help. And it's turned into another backdoor way of allowing someone permanent residency here. And they take advantage of all of our public services and our.
So, yeah, Megan was real upset about that, and folks were jumping on her about it. But, however, folks are going back through the crates. They're going back through the crates, and you find out that these right-wingers who are exiles from the Republican Party right now over the Israel thing, yeah, you go back through the crates, and then you start hearing similar things.
It's a different way of thinking about it. But his takeaway was the same. And by the way, I just want to say, I don't think they're eating the geese. I think they're sacrificing them. I mean, they're coming from a country where witchcraft is the dominant religion. That's a fact. And anyone who denies it hasn't ever actually been to the country, as I have, or doesn't know anything about it. That's a fact. I don't think we should import people who practice witchcraft. I think that should be illegal. I'm sorry. It's my country. I don't want witchcraft here. Fair? Oh, shut up. I don't care what you call me. No witchcraft, because it's real. But what I notice most is the hatred that leaders have for the country. It's hatred. You watch them as they die, you don't care. You lecture them. Our senile president screamed at Americans who dared to complain about the disappearing geese today. You're racists. This is an attack on a group. No, it's not. Don't treat me with contempt. I mean, it's a different way of thinking about it.
Okay, so for all the Haitians out there who thought they had camaraderie with the Europeans, this must be incredibly jarring. It must be. It must be. Must be incredibly jarring. Gotta be. Well, we're not done just yet, because then there was Tucker Carlson talking to Jeffrey Sachs. Now, Jeffrey Sachs is an eminently qualified academic. He works in government. He works in consultation. This guy is at the top of competence. I watch Sachs a lot. And he wanted to talk to Tucker about Haiti, for example. And this goes even further than what you all just saw Matt Walsh get schooled about. Listen to this.
But to me, I find it so weird. I was asked to help Aristide in Haiti.
Yes.
Okay. Haiti's, so poor, so unstable, so desperate. And Aristide asked me for economic help. That's what I do. That's my expertise. So I flew.
Now, how many of you were aware of this? Aristide was asking for economic help. Now, remember, Sachs is not a politician. I mean, he's plugged in and, he works with NGOs and things like that. He's not a elected leader, elected politician. And he's telling you that Aristide we said back when Aristide was in power, Aristide said, hey, man, can we get some financing down here? And I'm like, how many of you knew that was going on?
So unstable, so desperate. And Aristide asked me for economic help. That's what I do. That's my expertise. So I flew down to Port-au-Prince, and I had a very good meeting with him. And at the end of the meeting, he said, Mr. Sachs, they're going to take me out. They're going to take me out. And what do you mean? He said, they're going to overthrow me. Okay. Sorry to be so naive as I am. I said, no, we're going to make this work. We're going to make this work. No, they're going to take me out. I said, no, I'm going back to Washington. We're going to help with the Inter-American Development Bank and World Bank and IMF. And, I'm so naive. So, of course, then they decide to take him out. And the way they do it is destabilize the country. So the first thing is close down the IMF, close down the World Bank, close down the Inter-American Development Bank, squeeze. The next thing is you send in some mercenaries who are going to create trouble, come over the border from Dominican Republic. The last thing was rather remarkable, which was the U.S. ambassador showed up at his door literally one day and said, Mr. President, you have to flee. We have a plane waiting for you. Otherwise, your life is in danger. And they led him to a plane with an unmarked tail. And 23 hours later, he was in Central African Republic. So this is what's called a coup in broad daylight.
All right, folks. Now, that came from Professor Jeffrey Sachs. with him telling you he was there. I know he's gotten all the airplay since, the Gazan genocide, Israel's genocide in Gaza. And a lot of the folks have been talking to him. Well, guess what? He talked to Tucker about Haiti also and said, by the way, Aristide, yeah, I was there when they took out Aristide. I was trying to help him get funding, and Aristide told me they're going to take me out. And I'm telling him, no, don't worry. We're going to fix this. We're going to get you some funding. Everything going to be straight. No, I'm going back to Washington. I know it's a little iffy right now. Trust me, I'm going back to Washington. I'm going to get things lined up. It's going to be good. And Aristide, no, you ain't listening to me. They're going to take me out, man. He's like, no, I'm going to get back to Washington. We're going to smooth this over, man. Don't worry. It's a little shaky right now, but we're going to smooth it over. It's like, dude, this is so far above your damn pay grade. This is not about money. This is about control. And sure enough, he goes back and they shutting you down. The next thing you know, it's like, yeah, he's out of here. And they've had a conveyor belt of leaders ever since. And what did he tell you? They start destabilizing the place. Let me go back and play that again.
They're going to overthrow me. Okay. Sorry to be so naive as I am. I said, no, we're going to make this work. We're going to make this work. No, they're going to take me out. I said, no, I'm going back to Washington. We're going to help with the Inter-American Development Bank and World Bank and IMF. And, I'm so naive. So, of course, then they decide to take him out. And the way they do it is destabilize the country. So the first thing is close down the IMF, close down the World Bank, close down the Inter-American Development Bank, squeeze. The next thing is you send in some mercenaries who are going to create trouble, come over the border from Dominican Republic. The last thing was rather remarkable, which was the U.S. ambassador showed up at his door literally one day and said, Mr. President, you have to flee. We have a plane waiting for you. Otherwise, your life is in danger. And stable, so desperate.
So yeah, y'all, you get that. It's not accidental. It's not accidental when they do those kind of things. So it's never going to be an accident. They know exactly what the hell they're doing. They sit up there and they say, okay, we're going to shut things down.
They decide to take them out. And the way they do it is destabilize the country. So the first thing is close down the IMF, close down the World Bank, close down the Inter-American Development Bank, squeeze. The next thing is you send in some mercenaries who are going to create trouble, come over the border from Dominican Republic.
Wait a minute. Did he just say send in mercenaries coming over from the Dominican Republic? Well, I thought the Dominican Republic hardened its border because they wanted to keep Haitians out. Haven't they been going over there and kicking Haitians out all over the place and whatnot? So I thought the Dominican Republic wanted to harden its border because they really don't want to fool with the Haitians. Right? I mean, that's what we've been hearing, and that's what they've been allegedly showing us with these videos and stuff. I played some of myself. So I thought the Dominican Republic wasn't really fooling with Haiti, and they just really wanted to keep the Haitians out. I thought that was the case. I'm just saying. Here's the way I see it. Here's the way I look at it. The whole issue here has been that Haiti is painfully aware of what the problem has been. They're painfully aware of what it is, but like so many others, they identify as Caribbeans and Europeans. And when they deal with us, they only look to see what they can rape and pillage and steal and exploit. They do not come to us with hat in hand with the request for camaraderie and alliance. That's not what they come to us for. Everything's about the grift and the scam and what they can get. And when they show up, all of a sudden they want us to rally behind them. Ain't that right, Roland Martin, you fat back piece of spare rib? Every time we turn around, they want us to clear the way and open the lane. And then when we open the lane, they tell us, congratulations, welcome to Little Haiti. Instead of them saying that they are the newest citizens of Foundationville, they show up and tell us, thanks for making a lane for us. Welcome to Little Haiti. Now, that's what we end up getting, is that right there. They don't show up to get with our program that has actually succeeded. They want to show up here and start replicating their same damn failures, which is why you got to scam and grift off every damn thing. So this is a team that isn't really trying to win, don't know how to win, and not really interested in winning. They're just kind of interested in perpetuating and replicating their failures. See, that's the issue that I have right there. I have an issue with that. I have an issue with somebody who has nothing but a track record of failing, and they're trying to convince me that I need to get with their program when they came sitting on my couch, eating off my table. I have an issue with that. I got a problem with that right there. And ain't no walking it back and reconciling that. It is what it is. It is what it is. So, no, we're not looking to take that in a different direction. I'm not taking my cues from you. I'm not looking to see how I can get anything else, get other cues from you. You're not here to teach me anything. Not in that regard. You're not here to teach me nothing. It's about what you're going to learn from me on account of the fact that we got championships and wins, including in the blatant face of white supremacy. You talking about what you won back in 1804. I'm talking about what we winning today. Did you get that? You trying to still swing a flag about 1804, and by the way, everything you won, you lost it. We winning championships today.
And deal with it, nigga.
You won one championship. We got back-to-back dynasties. We got dynasties over here. You got one win. You need to sit up here and get with the damn follow with the winning team. That's what I'm saying. And you all come over here and like, okay, let me bring you our antiquated playbook that's already been defeated. Yeah, because you want to feed off of somebody else to replicate where the hell you're from. It's like, okay, you got to drop that. We're not looking to pick up your losing playbook. And they over here stomping heavy. Just keep losing. You want to talk about Haiti for a moment here? Let me go ahead and speak about that. Because, you can talk about the conveyor belt of leaders you had over there in Haiti. That's no problem at all. You can talk about the conveyor belt of leaders you had over there. But by the way, let's talk about Moises. Let's go ahead and talk about Moises. Remember, right before he got killed, that was Carnival. There's video of it online. He's sitting there at Carnival talking to some reporters from outside the country and whatnot. Folks is out there in Haiti in the middle of the streets wearing their drawers. That's what the females do there in the Caribbean. They wearing their drawers and wearing their G-strings in the middle of the street. White supremacy runs the damn yard, but you in the middle of the streets in Haiti with your G-strings on. Yeah, it's so damn dangerous that you got your G-strings on in the middle of the street. Yeah, because nothing says I'm not safe like wearing pasties and G-strings in the middle of the street, don't you know? And Moises is just sitting up there and whatnot, and they drinking and having a good old damn time and whatnot. And yeah, that's what was going on. That right there. That right there. So when that occurs, when that kind of thing happens, that's what I want you to understand is that that's what Moises was doing at the time. That's not folk who are taking the threat seriously. That's some folks who actually feel pretty damn safe. Now, if you doubt, show me where they dancing the boogaloo in Iran. I'll wait. Damn. Pakistan, Afghanistan. You know, the folks who understand, show me where they dancing the boogaloo. Show me where they doing that. Show me where the G strings are. I'll wait. Yeah, the folks who under real pressure, show me where the G strings and the pasties are and the dancing in the street and the bull jiving. Show me where they're at. Show me where they're at. That's the part of things they're missing. Now, I would be remiss if I did not talk about Megan Ku Klux Kelly. By the way, the gift that keeps on giving. Because there was another post I put up here earlier, because I would not be correct if I did not check this heifer. I got to do that. I would not be correct if I did not check this heifer. Because I want to remind you all of something. And I don't want the damn illegals to sit up here and start me. That's right, Jason, you told him. No. Sit your ass down too. I do want to send a reminder to you all about these sanctimonious white supremacists who want to tell you about the grounds on which they're objecting to other people. And what it does show you is that white supremacy is just a religion that you make up ad hoc as you go along. It doesn't actually have a firm explanation. When you ask them what is white, they can't really tell you because it doesn't have a set definition. It's whatever is advantageous for them at that moment. So if it's advantageous to add people, they're white. When it becomes disadvantageous, you're expelled. What that does is I want to go back here and show you that there was another post that I shared earlier. This is from Ed Krasenstein. He was talking about this post from America talking about immigration without assimilation is invasion. This is what he said. Go back to Ellis Island. Do you think they assimilated instantly? Italian immigrants built Little Italies. Chinese immigrants built Chinatowns. Germans had German language newspapers, schools, churches, and whole neighborhoods, German villages. Irish? You mean like folk with the name Kelly? Or folk with the name O'Reilly? Bill? Or folks with the name Hannity? Sean? So, by the way, folks, you want to talk about people who are less than white. How about the Irish, who only became white in the last century? Check, I spent years playing for you all the movie The Departed with Jack Nicholson and Leo DiCaprio. What did Nicholson say at the beginning of the film? Back when an Irishman couldn't get an effing job. And we had then we had the presidency. May he rest in peace. Talking about Kennedy. So, yeah, the Irish were less than white during the 20th century. Oh, okay. Irish, Polish, Jewish, Greek, Cuban, Vietnamese, Mexican, and countless other communities arrived speaking different languages, practicing different religions, eating different foods, and forming tight-knit enclaves that they still have. There's only one group that was not allowed to do it, by the way. There's only one group that wasn't. We tried to do the same thing while they blew up and bombed and burned down and stormed and destroyed all of ours. I'm not just talking about the Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma, folks. Look at Wilmington, North Carolina. They were allowed by the federal government to overthrow an entire black community. Wilmington, North Carolina was a black town. And they were allowed long after the Civil War. This is basically 20th century history. They were allowed to overthrow the duly elected black government in Wilmington, North Carolina. Go and look that up for yourselves. They were allowed to overthrow the government, and the federal government sat back and said, okay, have at them niggas. So you see, everywhere we go, Rosewood and Philadelphia and everywhere else, why, you get bombed, you get destroyed, you get invaded, you get overthrown. They allow the sheriffs and the state bring in the white mobs, the Irish and the Polish and the Jewish and the Greek and the Cuban and the Vietnamese. Nobody was dropping bombs on them. Nobody was getting in airplanes, dropping dynamite on them. Nobody was burning down the whole damn neighborhoods. Chinatown in New York, Canal Street in New York, not New Orleans. Nobody was ever allowed to do that. Germantown in Philadelphia, nobody was allowed to do that. Nobody was allowed to just come burn them out. So when you watch movies like Gangs of New York, the part that's missing is the part where they burn down the whole town. See, that's the part that's missing, folks. When you do films like Gangs of New York, another Scorsese film, just like The Departed, the part that's missing is nobody was burning down the whole damn town. Nobody was burning down their whole neighborhoods. That wasn't allowed. They didn't do that. They came and did that to us. But that's the part that's missing with these other folk. Some of them got beat up a little bit, but nobody came and annihilated their neighborhoods. The government didn't come in and overthrow their whole neighborhoods and annihilate their entire neighborhoods. That's the part that didn't happen to anybody, including at the same time it was happening to us. These were folks who were setting up at the same time that we were reconstructing, and yet they only bombed us and only burned us. They put the freeways only through ours. The freeways were put only through our neighborhoods. They dropped airports only on our neighborhoods. We were targeted. These other groups have never been targeted. Never. And yet here they are a century later, because they are blonde-headed, even if your blondness came in a bottle, Megan. Because they are blonde-headed and blue-eyed. And now they're telling you and extolling you all to the virtues of white supremacy. These will be the same folks who will sit up here and tell you that the Irish were indentured servants. Ain't that the same as being a slave? You a lying ass lie. No, it is not. Indentured servants were not property. Indentured servants were not chattel slavery. Indentured servants were not owned. Indentured servants were not registered as property. Indentured servants' children could not be taken from them as property. Debunk those things right together. They were servants. They signed up for it voluntarily. Indentured servants were not involuntary servants. They were called servants because they asked for it. They traded money for labor. They couldn't afford to get to the New World on their own. They agreed to work off the cost of sending them there. That's not slavery. That is what it is. It's a tough working contract, but you volunteered for it. You're not a slave if you're voluntary. You're not a slave if you're not property. You're not a slave if your children cannot be sold out from under you. You're not a slave. So you're not going to redefine those European servants who volunteered for a work contract into suddenly be, once again, roll them in to be like us. No, you're not. No, you're not. You are not going to roll them into us. Get these people off of us, all of them. The old illegals and the new. You're not going to mix them in with us and say, well, ain't they like you? The hell they are. No, they're not. However, what it does show you is how quickly they forget and how quickly they move on, because I need y'all to remember the Irish, the Italian, the Greeks, anything basically from Southern Europe, anything basically Southern Europe and Western Europe. Yeah, it's like, oh, you're not white. You're not white. But take a look at how quickly they've taken the white supremacy like a duck to water. You're not white. Jewish. I mean, take a look at all these things the guy was naming. Irish, Polish, Jewish, Greek. Yeah, this is a rundown. The Italians. This is a rundown. Now, the Germans are different. Not the Germans, not them. But the rest of this is a rundown of all the less than white. All the less than white people, and take a look at how readily they took to it. Yeah, you can go watch gangs in New York, but the Irish wasn't holding a damn grudge about it. Now, they're some of the biggest white supremacists you can find. Anybody who's seen your black basketball players playing in Boston, you've seen that if you've been there for a live NBA game. Boston is one of the most notoriously racist cities in America for NBA games to this day. The less than white people, and take a look at how quickly and readily they assimilated to white supremacy. They're like a duck to water. They jump right into it. That ain't accidental. And for the Haitians who are catching the blues, understand something right here. Let me say a couple of things here first. Y'all, when's the last time you heard somebody talking about, we ain't worried about you niggas, they ain't gonna do nothing to us? What? When's the last time you heard that? When's the last time you all heard somebody, y'all, these Twitter streets are getting real quiet with that getting flip at the lip? I mean, 3 years ago, they was all ornery and flip at the mouth and slick at the mouth about what wasn't going to happen and what they wasn't worried about. And we don't need y'all niggas for this. And we got this. And man, look here. They done sent the man to come round them up. And all of a sudden, they getting real quiet. Yeah, all that greasy talk and getting slick at the mouth. Oh, man. It done got quiet, talking about what you gonna do and what you got the power to do. It's like, okay, well, I'm glad you got that power, because nigga, you need it now. You need it now, because there's about a couple million of you about to sit up here and get on the first thing up out of here. You can get back over there in Haiti with barbecue.
And deal with it, nigga.
Yeah, you about to be real tough back in Port-au-Prince. So I'm just wondering, hey, y'all, have you noticed this, all that slick at the mouth talk about what they don't need from us and this, that, and the other? Y'all notice it done got real quiet, ain't it? You know why? Because they know ain't no backup coming. There's no backup here. I don't know what the hell you called us for. They already know not to call us up. They sitting around right now. I hope these niggas, American brothers, please, I am on the phone. The man is coming. Where are you at? Yeah, man, they picking up and we like, oh man, the number you have reached is no longer in service, nigga. The number you have reached is no longer in service for you niggas. So yeah, y'all, it's a bunch of folk who was talking real slick when Kamala Harris was in the White House. You know she gonna do beat Trump. You know this. Trump got up in there. I'm not worried. How about today, man? There's all kinds of illegal sweating bullets today. The man coming to get them. Ain't no backup. We ain't hitting the streets. There's not no protesting. There ain't none of that. We are all the way cool in the gang with how they gonna do you. Because you've had 6 decades to make your gestures of solidarity everywhere we go. We offer that to everyone. We hit the ground doing that. They've had 6 decades to offer that. The only thing they've offered is to sit up here and lay up with Zaddy. So from here on in, we're going to let Zaddy have you. We're going to let Zaddy have you. Right now, you need that to be a real thing. You need that Zaddy ass kissing love to be a real thing. It's going to be rough on you. It's going to be rough on you. But lose our number. Don't call us about no elections, no midterms. If we do vote for something, it's not going to be for you. So at this point right now, it's like you've had 6 decades to make a priority of joining forces with us. Whoever y'all been joining forces with, Karine Jean-Pierre and the rest of them, that's where you need to be and that's where you gon' be. We saying that straight out. You've had 6 decades now to bridge this gap. you get together with your little enclaves, and then you start talking trash and undermining us. You supposed to have a super solid ass bridge to us. You are supposed to have a super solid bridge to us after all this time. That bridge is supposed to be super rock solid. There shouldn't be no gaps in it, no holes in the game. It is exactly the opposite. And as far as we're concerned now, you know what? Just leave it where it is. Nah, don't worry about fixing no bridges now. Don't worry about repairing nothing. Just leave it where it is. Leave it in rubble where it is. No, I'm not building anything. No, I'm not bridging no gaps. No, we're not crossing nothing. Let's just leave it like it is. Everybody who's on our side, let's roll. Everybody who's not, you're on your own. Because you've had 6 decades to make this a priority. And right up until the last 24 months, it was never a priority. So since it's not a priority, and it never was, and every time you get empowered, you say, great, I'm doing this for Haitians. We're talking about we're doing this for all of us. As soon as you get empowered, Southern Florida, New York, Ohio, first thing out your damn mouth is this is for Haitians. Okay, well, you know what? Why don't we put you back in Haiti, and you can, all this Haitian fire you got and all this Haitian vigor you got, you can start working the hell out of that back in Haiti. Since that's the spot and that's lit and that's what you energized for, okay, let's put you back in Haiti where you can really get down and get things cracking. And you can sit there with barbecue and rep that flag. Let's go ahead and jump over here on Zoom right quick. We got Elijah here on Zoom. Brother Elijah, what's on your mind?
Hey, big brother. Good evening, everyone. How you doing up there? Big brother. Before I say what I need to say and ask what I need to ask, can I please just give a special rest and power to the mother nation of Islam, Sister Khadija Farrakhan, because she passed today, and shout out to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, who's been a rider for us for over several decades. So I just hope him and his family are gonna pull through this and everything like that. So, and also thank you for your commentary about the late great and the Honorable Brother Tony Brown. Wonderful brother. I used to watch him as well. And the late great Gil Noble. I loved him. When his show went off the air, that was the end of ABC for me. All right. Brother, excellent broadcast as usual. When you're talking about the situation with the Supreme Court. And you remember when I asked you, why does Haiti always allow themselves to get to be used as propaganda by the United States? I have a better question, though. I'm gonna update the question. What is the problem? Because like you was mentioning tonight, America kept choosing its leaders. Why do they keep allowing America to do anything for them? Why can't they just stand up like men? According to what they said, 1804. Why can't they just stand up like men and say, "Hey, we're gonna do for ourselves. We're gonna choose our leaders, and we're gonna back our leaders." Well,
this isn't the 17th century anymore. This is the modern era. Okay. And what worked for Dessalines and Louverture, that's not an option today. It's the Europeans are too united. They're too mechanized. They're too well armed. The only way that will happen is if they join forces with us. You got to have operatives who are inside the empire who can bring weight to bear to get these folk up off of you, like we did in South Africa. Haiti, like so many other areas, has flatly refused. They told themselves, we're going to kiss enough white ass and we're going to be privileged by them. And that's the strategy that they're holding on to. Exactly the difference, from Dessalines and Louverture. So that's the strategy that the descendants of Garvey and Dessalines have glommed onto.
Big brother, when you say us and everything like that, I want to build on what you just said, because I was thinking about this, and it ties in perfectly with the program you did last week when you mentioned a snippet about Jamaica. All right, I'm not confusing the two. our people here allowed a lot of the Caribbean brothers and sisters and the Africans to come over here, live amongst us, get good job positions and everything like that. And I noticed something when you was talking about the Chinese owning Jamaica and it's over. And then when we're talking about tonight with the crippling of Haiti and everything like that with their economy, why was it when they came over here 50 plus years ago, we allowed them to make all the money? They could have used the money instead of criticizing our people here and being disrespectful. They could have taken their time, used the money when the getting was good, and sent the money back to their homelands and built it up and everything like that. They felt they was more in competition with us, and we were the ones that opened the door for their musty asses to come over here. Now that we see everything they work so hard for, or they so-called work hard for, is evaporating and everything like that. Why is that, big brother?
I mean, that's what happens with a lack of agenda.
Okay.
I mean, that's just the bottom line. The bottom line is that you have a bunch of folk out there and they're just doing for self. At least when they were fighting the French in Haiti, they had a common mission. Today,
Yes,
the bottom line is it's actually every man for himself. And it shows itself and displays itself here. So they get together in enclaves, but they're really like the Klingon Empire. They're enclaves of every man for himself. And ultimately, you are divided, and that's what's ultimately going to be your undoing, because you're all really fighting to see who's going to get the most preferential treatment from the folk who are oppressing you. You're not actually fighting to get away from it. You're fighting to figure out who's going to get the best seat in Master's house. That's what it ends up being. So that's the reason why it ultimately doesn't succeed. And as I told you all last week, the reason they have an issue with us is because we didn't bring them any white asses to kiss.
Big brother, I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna land my plane. I can see this happening from what you just said. There won't be a Jamaica. I can see this happening. There might be a Haiti, but there will be very little of it. I'm saying that, in other words, they had that selfish mentality, what you just said. In other words, they got that selfish mentality, come up here, me, me, me. They don't want to send anything back home. Do like how when we get up, we try buy up the block, do this and that for the
well, they've had their opportunity to do that. So the real problem is that once you give folks freedom of mobility and you start finding out what their priorities are, and the entire issue is they had their opportunity to show that, and they've demonstrated that at the end of the day, they're really just every man for themselves. And it's just like, okay, that also makes you very easy to remove. Thank you very much. Give us a call tonight here. Let's see if we can get Brother Shakir up here on Zoom for me here. All right, Brother Shakir, what's on your mind?
You mentioned Tony Brown, and I remember one quote that he had, and it's very prescient because of this Asian boycott. And Tony Brown said, if you are black and the business is run by the people who are not black, then those people come in at 9, leave at 5, and take their wealth to the communities in which they live.
Gospel. That is just a truism of economics, period.
It was under the business quotes that he had. But anyway, I think that with the Haitians and other immigrant groups, given to what America has done to their societies, you would think that they would come over here and be advocating for a socialist society in which systemic racism could not exist.
Well, it doesn't matter to them what economic system you offer or label it. They're only concerned about their proximity to whiteness. This is a social goal, not a socioeconomic one. That's the thing that folk are missing. So it doesn't matter whether it's communism, Cuba, socialism, capitalism. They want to know, okay, how close am I going to be to white folk? Tell me what I get from there. And then they're going to determine how much they value what you're offering. And that's the real truth of it. So it doesn't matter what system you name. They want to know, okay, how much white proximity are you offering me?
The thing about capitalism to me is that it's inextricably linked to racism. And that's why I can't see calling myself a foundational Black American. I would rather prefer being called a foundational Black freedman, but that's just me.
You can call yourself whatever you want to. Now, after you've done that, what do we do about white supremacy?
As you said, we replace it with a system of justice.
Right. After that, I'm unconcerned about what you call yourself after that. You can call yourself Ice Cream Sunday if you want to. All I want to know is, okay, name yourself whatever you want to. Now, what are we going to do about white supremacy? But you'll never get me quibbling with you over labels. I'm about action and agenda. You can call yourself whatever you want to. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. I mean, you can label yourself whatever you want to. And whatever makes you feel great, that's wonderful. Now, what are we going to do with whatever you label yourself? Whatever what your name is, whatever it is, what are we going to do? All right, we got Alistair here on Zoom. What's on your mind, Alistair? I mean, Antoine, rather. Sorry. I got Antoine here on Zoom. What's on your mind, Antoine?
Hey, what's going on, Jason? I appreciate you even speaking about the fact of, I give you a shout out to even calling out the Haitians as far as what they were trying to do in New Orleans. I'm in Chicago. There's been this long myth going, in my opinion, and that was about the whole idea about DuSable being the father of Chicago. And it's based off the fact that even chronologically, it kind of never even made no sense. And sometimes when you tell a lie long enough, it becomes the truth. He was born in 1754. He left out around about 1774. He went over to New Orleans, Louisiana, and got his way around Chicago. Well, it wasn't called Chicago at that time. But nonetheless, it was Saint Domingue before it became Haiti. So he wouldn't even been recognized by that name, as well as the fact that I don't think he wouldn't have been able to do a whole lot of trading around here and what you would call Chicago, unless he looked like the people that actually were native here.
Yeah, a lot of folk have realized that the political winds have changed and that we're not going for the Pan-African thing. So what they're trying to do is fabricate some roots of their own. Now that we've made it very clear that we're from the soil here, you got other folks trying their pathetic attempts to do the same thing. So that's basically what we're seeing right now. They're trying to foundationalize themselves.
Yep, and just finally, I mean, if that was the case, I did not see nobody following up behind DuSable in Chicago. There's no cuisine here, no culture here. That specifically is headed towards Haiti, as well as the fact that Haiti does not look like Chicago. So that's been something that I've been told as a kid this growing up, until you look at it chronologically, and it just doesn't make no sense. So I just want to give you a shout out to even call that out over in Louisiana before we get way down the road and it become a whole thing like that. We got streets named after them as well as museums, but I just want to give you a shout out for that. That was all I had for you, brother.
Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Let's go ahead and jump here. Let me get Alistair this time. Let's go ahead and do that. All right, Alistair, what's on your mind?
Hey, good evening, brother Jason. First, let me just say,
turn off your speakers, sir. Okay, brother, you're killing my program.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, we hear you. I just don't want to hear myself.
Okay, then good. All right, first of all, R.I.P. to brother Tony Brown and sister mother Khadijah Farrakhan, who passed away early today. And let me just say this, the reason why I want to mention about Tony Brown is because, excuse me, hold on, sorry about that. But first of all, what Tony Brown was voiced his concern over illegal immigration, arguing that it had a negative impact with the working class Black folks, which I agree with them on this. And I just wish that a lot of our Black leaders would have seen that 40 years ago.
They did. But please remember, the Black academic class was overrun with, because of the government, they brought in a bunch of non-FBA, immigrants and whatnot and flooded them into academia.
Right.
So whereas you had individuals like Tony Brown, they saw early on, you better cancel that out. So they brought a bunch of them into academia, and that's what happened there.
Yeah. Not just Tony Brown, but Dr. Claude Anderson mentioned about it as well, too. And
right, but from him to Dr. John Henry Clark, remember, they flooded academia, they displaced them because neither one of them had major academic support.
Right. And another thing, too, I'm sitting up there watching the World Cup. And I see all these African soccer players, playing for all these European nations like France, England, Portugal, Belgium.
Yeah.
You want to play for a country that King Leopold massacred some 12 million black Congolese and
So
everything
did.
else?
They sure do.
I mean, come on. And shout out to Congo who qualified to the World Cup and everything else. If those brothers would focus on sports like soccer and everything else, especially Haiti, because they have a pretty good soccer team, they qualified for the World Cup, they would have done that. That could have really helped them economically and everything else.
No, because just like your so-called athletes in America, y'all need to understand them cats, they want to get to the FIFA so they can have easier access to white women. And that's really their goal. Anybody in Britain will tell you they come from Nigeria, in France. They want to get back to France because I'm telling you what it is. They show up there in the first order of business. Give me some drugs and give me some white women. And that is it. That's the first order of business. Give me a soccer ball and give me some drugs and some white women and I'm straight. And that's the agenda. Inversely, if you removed that, they wouldn't be interested in playing soccer anymore.
That's true. That is so true. But
so they came for what they came to get for. That's why they're going to places like Sweden and whatnot. They're not ending up there by accident.
Switzerland.
These are not a bunch of mixed kids. That's the point you're trying to make. These aren't a bunch of mixed kids. I mean, these are first generation, dark skin, whole damn 9 yards. These are not a bunch of Colin Kaepernicks. That's not what that is showing up in France and in Switzerland and whatnot. That's in Belgium. That's not what you're getting. These are first generation, fresh off the boat. And they just down with the program. So it's you and me talking about white supremacy and all this old stuff. They're not the least bit concerned. They're like, man, damn that.
Yeah. Look at the Netherlands, for example. All black team just basically. France.
No, it's all of them, brother. I mean, it's all of them everywhere you go. So you're their favorite racehorses. They're going to love you as long as they can win, but you're a racehorse. We just didn't accept that part of it anymore. The rest of these folk, brother, they lined up for it. That's what they're there for. That's what they came for. That is the culture. They style and profile, and they go back to their home countries and brag about that. So what it really is that they've made a culture. This is why I coined the phrase, I created the phrase backstabbing cultures.
Yeah.
And so their whole thing is to go back and brag about who sold out the country the most. That's what they really do. They go back to brag about who left the most, who sold out the most, who don't give a damn the most. That it's become a competition to do that.
Right. Exactly.
So that's why they look at us like we crazy. It's because why are you worried about that right there? Just worry about you. And it's okay. When you say things like that, you don't get it. You don't get it. So if you want to know why colonization has worked so well, that's why.
Yeah.
You want to know why it still works so well? That's why. So it was some white women and it's 1,000 folk fighting over who gets that. And damn empowerment and socioeconomic sovereignty. Damn that.
Yeah, it's worse for the African women because they're promoting all this divestment and everything else, the swirling culture going on through Twitter and everything else.
Yeah, like I say, I mean, they've latched onto it and glommed onto it. So FIFA is just a big example of it. It's just an example to the world of it. That's exactly what it is. That's all they're concerned about. That's their priority. And Dr. John Henry Clark told you the white establishment will give you whatever you want. It doesn't matter what it is, so long as you concede the number 1 position to them. You can have whatever you want at number 2 position, so long as you do not attempt to challenge them for number 1.
Exactly. Yep.
Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. That's what it is. All right, let's go ahead and get William up here on Zoom right quick. William, what's on your mind?
Hey, how you doing, Brother Jason? Listen, I just got to give you a quick critique about what you said earlier. When you're talking about Tony Brown and Gail Nobles and John Henry Clark and all the rest of those guys, you may not be none of those guys, but I can honestly say you are definitely a juggernaut in your time. So don't sell yourself short, brother. I've watched you reach across generations of people that I didn't think could ever be woken up. Baby boomers, I'm talking about mainly. And I didn't think they could be woken up, but you got baby boomers listening to what you say, you know, and they're on code and they're on par with what you're saying. I've watched you improve people's lives. I've watched you improve people's vocabularies. I've watched you do all of this stuff in real time. Hell, you've improved my vocabularies with some of the things that you say and with some of the words that you use. So I would say to you, take your place in history because you're doing this at a very volatile time. The internet is a volatile place. And I've watched you face down some of the worst people, you know what I'm saying, who said some of the craziest things. I've watched you, you know, I've gotten you, I've invested in, you know, in your documentaries, and you know, the information that you put out is, you know, is grade A information, you know, and that's stuff that we didn't have it, you know, for a long time. You know, we would have to, you know, go between, you know, we have to lurch, you know, years between this stuff. But I've been watching you since like 2010. So I could definitely say, man, you are definitely on par.
Well, I
You
thank
know,
you for the
with-
kind words, brother. But, you know, like I said, I was a child at the time when these things happened. And I was very blessed, I suppose, to have parents who made sure that I was exposed to that very early on. So
Right,
I
yeah.
remember Bill Cosby and Talking Picture Book. And I remember these things. These were milestones, you know, in our household. And so, you know, Tony Brown and whatnot, that wasn't new to me. And that's another thing I would say to those of you who are parents out there. Don't treat your children like children. Don't do that. I mean, I was watching all these things early on. Your kid's going to get enough time at the park. What's going to hurt them is when other folk are way ahead of them to maturing and growing up. There's going to be plenty of time at the park and for video games. That's not what we're hurting on. We're hurting on is folk who are prepared for more than that. So you can't hear about competence, brother. You have to see it. You can't hear about it. You want to know why you need a father in the home? Because you can't get competence by osmosis. You have to get competence by doing, by training, by seeing. And so these fellas, you know, all of them there, including Bill, you know, I've had plenty of criticisms about Bill Cosby, but from that 70s era to that mid 80s era, that was a really potent era of black excellence in that regard. And I'm talking about for media to go head to head in these white arenas, the news outlets, radio, television. That's why it was so important to Bill Cosby to have that show as it was. I have my criticisms of him, but I have zero criticisms of the Cosby Show as a movement, as a mechanism, as the point he was proving. That was flawless. That the Cosby Show was flawless as a media effort, a media property, and the point he was making, that show was flawless. It had zero flaws whatsoever. There was no cooning, no buffooning, no buck dancing, no white savior. He didn't want to repeat what Norman Lear. Hello, Mr. Lear. We won't get into origins there, but he didn't want to perpetuate what he had just seen Norman Lear doing. Norman Lear, who was the Lear Cohen of his era, he did not want to repeat what Norman Lear was doing. So you notice that about that. Everything for Norman Lear was black folks struggling. They could wrap their minds around that. And Bill wanted to make a specific point of refuting that. As far as I'm concerned, it was flawless. Now, then you have other people after that, like the Wayans. So when you talk about My Wife and Kids, you know, that the Wayans family has a lot of that in them. You know, just like the Jacksons. Let's hear it for Jehovah's Witnesses and all them folk. But what I'm saying is that Bill Cosby comes first. Bill Cosby comes first, showing that, yes, this can be done and the world will accept us. They will accept it, but first we got to accept ourselves. And he showed not that it worked, but this will be the biggest thing on television. You can't refute it. I mean, that went on for years. That's it. You've proven that does it. And as far as I'm concerned, that's black excellence. That was flawless. Tony Brown was another example of that. Of course, the only thing is you have bigger TV networks and news networks and stuff like that, so that can artificially keep you suppressed. That's perfectly fine. We saw him anyway. And so I hope that at the very least I've done a decent job of honoring the example that was set for me. And if the rest of you got a benefit from it, then I guess I earned my time here.
Well, that's just the thing. You know, I've watched you do this year after year, and I've been very. It's it's definitely got its own. It's got its own place in the history books, and it's going to be something that a lot of people are going to remember for years to come. So especially myself, and I listen. I let my kids listen to you and everything else. And so, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, you definitely you are definitely here when you're supposed to be. That's all I can really say, brother.
Well, thank you very much, brother, for the kind words. I definitely appreciate that. I've just tried to do my part. And one more thing here. If you all notice, we didn't hear a bunch of certain types of words out there and whatnot. We didn't hear those either. You didn't have Felicia Rashad and what's her name, Maria from Sesame Street. They wasn't running around talking about, nobody was running around back then talking about being biracial or black Latinas or Hispanic Latina. There wasn't none of that going on. There was not none of that going on. Even if we were aware of it, it was not an issue because they were not trying to distinguish themselves and delineate themselves. And I ain't here for the barigas. It wasn't none of that garbage going on. That was when we made progress. You want to know when progress comes to a halt? When you start talking about, okay, I'm here for the Latinas. I'm here for the biracials. I'm here for the, okay. But you notice back then when we were at the zenith of our abilities, there wasn't none of that going on. Everybody got behind the banner. Everybody backed the play. And what do you know? They came in and started telling you, well, we'll give you some individual benefits. And by the way, you have a kind of rich heritage there. Next thing you know, it's about, okay, let's go ahead and acknowledge where you come from. Well, ain't you one of us? Well, aren't you also Latina? Aren't you also Asian? Hello, Tiger. And then it becomes all that. So keep that in mind as well. At the zenith of our abilities, that was not an issue. Let's go ahead and jump back over here on Zoom again. Let's see if we can get the Samsung up here on Zoom. I'll give you a minute here to get on Zoom, Samsung. If you're not available or if you got kidnapped or something, we're going to go ahead and move on here. Okay, Samsung, whoever you are, I don't see anything. You don't have a light on or something. It's just pitch black there. So if you got an OnlyFans or something, I'm not really interested. So if you can't get a light on for me here, I got to move on. So I can go ahead and give you 5 seconds to do that. Then I got to move on. I can give you 3 more seconds. There you go. All right. And what's your name, brother? Unmute yourself. Okay, brother, you're killing my program. Unmute yourself. Microphone, lower left-hand corner of your screen. There's a little red microphone icon, bottom left-hand corner of your screen. If you press it, it'll come on. I assure you. Okay, he is technologically challenged here.
Well, you hear me now, Jason?
There you go. If you press the button, it'll work. I promise you. Go ahead.
You heard me?
Yes, sir. We hear you.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to let you know, Jason, I appreciate you, man. I'm Haitian, but I was born here in America. I grew up in Haiti, though, half my life. And I just want to let you know, first of all, I appreciate you guys, FPA, for the freedom you give my family here. And you guys share blood and tears. And without that, black people around the world wouldn't be able to come here and get jobs, do what they do, But the only thing I didn't agree with you was you call us Haitians black Frenchmen. Now all of us, deal with the French. We don't like the French.
Well, let's be clear. I did not call Haitians black Frenchmen.
Oh, okay.
I said that Haitians consider themselves to be black Frenchmen and black Europeans.
Okay.
That's not a me thing. That's a them thing.
Okay. Well, I just want to let you know, brother. Well, me, I'm a field Negro. So me, I fight these crackers on the daily basis. And when George Floyd passed away, I completely changed. The only thing I want right now, my brother, I just want black people to get together, especially black Americans, Jamaicans, and Haitians. We one of the strongest black people, I believe, in the world. If these 3 groups of people get together, it's a wrap. but we're always fighting each other, especially Haitian and Jamaicans always fighting each other, and Black Americans always fighting Haitian and Jamaicans also.
Okay, well,
And I
brother,
just wanna let-
you can't find us fighting nobody anywhere.
Right,
Now,
right.
that's not a thing. We've never done that. We are the only unifying force that there's been. All that
Right.
internecine fighting that you're referring to, that's the Caribbean. That's the continent. You can go on Twitter. You can go on Facebook. You can go in New York, in Queens. The
Right,
Haitians and the Jamaicans at the schools, y'all. I mean, that we're non-existent. That
Right.
we're not a factor at all, and yet that's the thing that's going on. They
Nah,
get
you're right.
everybody wants to talk unity when there's something for them to gain individually. The
Right.
problem comes in when it's talking about sharing it. So as soon as they see a chance to get individual benefits, that becomes the problem.
Right.
And we like to say that was a recent advent, but folks been laying in the cut for that. So we don't really have we don't have anything to do with that factor of it. So what we really need is for Haitians and Jamaicans to have Twitter spaces and YouTubes and whatnot to talk to other Haitians and Jamaicans about
Right.
them getting on code.
Right.
That's
Well,
what the conversation needs to be, because every time there's an Olympics or a FIFA, everybody's getting on code talking about how happy they are to be, Jamaican or Congolese or whatever. And all of a sudden, they're not required to have unity anymore. So the
Right.
conversation that really needs to happen isn't us. The conversation needs to happen is Haitians and Jamaicans and Nigerians and whatnot talking to each other about why they're off code and how they
Okay.
need to what they need to do to stop being ass kissers and resolve it.
But
Because
can I-
right
can I
now
interrupt you?
it's an existential threat now.
But I just want to let you know one thing, Jason. Do you believe that Black Americans and Haitians, well, is that something, you know that we have one of the hardest slavery, right? Us two, right? You know we went through hell, right? Black Americans and Haitian slavery was even worse. But I don't want to compare our paints.
Haitian
So just-
slavery was worse. Define worse.
Well, that's the reason why. What I meant by that, Haitian slavery was crazy. Just like Haitian Americans Black Americans went through some bad. Basically, I can't even explain it because both of us had the worst slavery. Just put it like that.
I would argue to you, actually, it probably wasn't, because they were able to run off the French and the British.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
And what were the numbers that they were up against? So I would actually argue to you that Haiti was not nearly as dominated as North America is, simply by how difficult it was and the numbers that we were up against. So I would argue with it, probably not. But here's the thing. I'll let it be equally as bad across the board. What did you take from it? Did you take from it that we are black, or did you take from it, I got myself away from the Frenchmen, at least, which really didn't happen, and we're doing our own thing? Because what I'm saying is that the lessons of Dessalines and L'Ouverture got forgotten within a generation.
Yeah,
that's
true.
the issue right there. Is we remembered all the lessons since Nat Turner, and Haiti forgot them within a generation.
Right. That's true. That is true. What you're saying is true. But the thing is, it's kind of like, one thing I'm trying to figure out is like, do you think, like, if Haiti was great, do you think we would not accept y'all? Because I don't like when you feel like we want to accept FBA, because we love Black Americans. Believe it or not.
Here's my thing, brother. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt on everything you're saying.
Right.
Here's my issue, because you're saying, do you feel like we wouldn't? I got to figure out who we is, because right now you're calling me from where tonight?
Oh, right. I'm in New Jersey.
Okay. You're not calling me from Port-au-Prince.
No.
Right. So what I'm saying is that when you say we and you're grouping yourself in with quote unquote Haitians, at that point, what you're saying is that I speak for the Haitian body politic. I speak for the average Haitian. And I'm just telling you, I don't think you do. I don't think that you speak for Haitians in general. So you are an exception. I don't think that what you're saying will play in Port-au-Prince.
Well, right now it would not. Well, right now with the shit going on, everything going on. But
right, that's why you're calling me, because there are plenty of Haitians on YouTube. You're calling me because, like Garvey, you know that your message is going to fall on deaf ears with other Haitians.
That is true, but that's the thing I'm saying. Like, but if you go to Haiti, like that's Black Americans all over Haiti as we're speaking right now. And when they go there, they're like, yo, wow, like we got mad love from Haitians. You know, it's just like
okay, but what do foundational Black Americans in Haiti own and control in Haiti?
But that's the issue because
where are the FBA politicians that have been elected to office in Haiti? Because I can show you the Haitians in office in America. Where's the FBA representation in Haitian government, in Haitian business, in Haitian media?
You completely right. Haitians do be selling other Haitians out. That's the problem.
Right, but what I'm saying is that we're locked out. What you just described were FBA tourists. You were not describing FBA citizens. That wasn't what you were describing. So when you say we down there and got love for them, we don't own anything and don't run anything and don't have any influence.
Well, that's because
that's a tourist.
Well, that's because our government, you know, is crooked. They always try and give the white man, you know, the white man will give them money.
Well, I mean, okay, part of that's true about, quote, the government, but brother, that doesn't, that's giving abdication to the rank and file Haitian. It's not like the average Haitian on the street is more sympathetic than the government. They're like, it's okay when we come down there. It's cool when we come down there. A lot of us have been, that's great and wonderful. The real problem comes when we start talking about resources and influence. Everybody loves an American tourist because they like the American dollars. My question is, do I have more influence than the Europeans do down here? Am I going to get a better business deal? Are your daughters looking for a European ass to kiss? You know, those are things I'm taking a look at. Damn, getting my dollars, because I'm like, I don't know if it's me you respect or the dollars. Let me take the dollar off the table. You don't get no access to my money. The only thing you get access to is me. Now, how much camaraderie we got? All of a sudden, the fellas are holding their wallets. The government ain't responding. The females are turning their ass up to you. And it starts turning out like that. So the real issue is folk who, quote, unquote, want us when they're not in need. Because everybody's cool with Americans when they're in need. Okay, well, let me go ahead and get that little pot belly of yours fed right quick. And let's see how you feel about me then. That's where the problem comes in.
Yeah, that is the problem. No, you're right. Even me right now, I'm upset. You see how Jamaican, you know, can't even go to their own beach like you mentioned, I believe, last week or 2 weeks ago. I listen to you. I love you, my brother. No homo. You know I love you. But at the same time, and when I go
next.
to...
Haiti's next.
Yeah, well, Haiti's exactly. That's
what's going to happen on the island of Hispaniola is first they're going to cut their deal with the Dominicans. That's the first thing they're going to do. And then, as you just heard what Professor Sachs tell you, they're going to use the Dominicans, and then they're going to circle around the Haiti part of it. And I predict that that's what's going to happen within the next century.
Oh, nah, Jason, they're already doing it, man. I'm trying to tell you, like me, like my family is out there. I'm well connected out there. And like the white people own all the beautiful places in Haiti as we're speaking right now, you know. But one thing is they do not tell us we cannot go there. They know Haitians, we get crazy. We go all crazy when we want to get crazy. So they're not going to play us like Jamaicans. They know we burned the whole fucking country down. They know that for a fact. But the issue I'm having is a lot of Haitian will kiss white people ass. I'm just being real with you. Not all of us, but majority of us. You know, I don't know if it's a slave syndrome. I don't know what it is. But me personally, I don't mess with them. You know, if it was a revolution right now, believe me, I'll be fighting for you guys. I'll be fighting for Haitian because me, I'm straight up pro-black. I don't care. Because you know what I'm saying? I've been in America for half my life. I already got gun put out on me. I get treated like you guys get treated. When George Floyd passed away, I changed. Like I told you before, I just don't play with these white people.
Well, brother, I think that all is great and wonderful. Here's the issue I have is that you're the exception.
Right. No, you know, well, there's a lot of us. When you go to Southern
Florida, when you go to the Pork and Beans, when you go to Queens, unfortunately, you are not representative of the group. You're representative of a faction. No, don't get me wrong. You are representative of faction. We got some on-code Haitians, absolutely. But the problem is just like in white supremacy. You got some white folk who are not racist. Unfortunately, they do not represent the group. They represent themselves. They represent a certain faction. Michael Moore is not representative of American white society in general. Megyn Kelly is.
Okay.
Or at least American white society is more represented by Megyn Kelly than it is by the Michael Moores. And that's just the bottom line.
That is the bottom line, bro. And that's the thing. I'm just trying to get to my people, even my own family. Like sometimes they talk shit about Black Americans. I'm like, yo, listen, if it wasn't for them that shed blood, we would not be here. Until I get it to their head, they have to go educate themselves and be like, oh shit, you're right. You know, so a lot of people come, you don't understand the benefit you guys give us.
Well, but the reason that they don't is because this is not a conversation that is taking place and prioritized among Haitians. This needs to be a conversation, just like white society has to talk about white supremacy amongst themselves.
Right.
Haitians and Caribbeans and Africans have to discuss their off-code culture amongst themselves.
Right.
That's the part right there that's missing, is an internal conversation. So calling us is fine, but that doesn't move the needle. Calling other Haitians and being willing to get that smoke over there, that's what makes a difference.
Oh, I call them out, bro. Believe me, because I want Haiti to be great, because I don't even want you guys, FBA, to even be here. Be honest with you. I would love you guys to be in Haiti if Haiti was great. Put it like that. Because my dream is to have all Black people together. We don't need these white people. We invented everything.
Look, Haiti is one of the most beautiful places out there. I think Jamaica's kind of got a little edge on it necessarily. If you don't like terrain, it's a terrain issue for me. Haiti's got a lot of foliage, a lot of hills. I'm not a big person about that. I guess
right. But the thing is, Jason, the hills, they protect us from hurricanes. That's a good thing having,
you're very right about that. It can, but then again, we got plenty of stuff built over here that stands up during hurricanes, during skyscrapers, I would like to see, I want to have folk doing well in this, that, and the other. That doesn't bother me. With Haiti, I think it would be a sad epilogue to go from L'Ouverture and Dessalines to, what you're heading toward now. I think that would be a very sad epilogue on that story. However, that's where they're heading. So I want to see folk doing well. I want to see them enjoy their environment. What I don't want is to see them, quote unquote, enjoying it at my expense, or enjoying it at the expense of my respect and dignity for it here. There's the issue that I have. So Haiti would be fixed if Haiti was on code with us. That's the element that's missing.
Well, I just want to let you know, the majority of us on code with us, it's just a lot of the ones that come over here that's so desperate. They like, oh, I'd rather kiss the white man ass because I'm trying to get on top. I'm trying to get my money. I'm trying to do this. And then they look at Black Americans, that's like they the problem. In reality is Black Americans get treated like shit over here because, hey, they don't want that give you freedom. People are never going to like the person that actually is, Black Americans is without y'all guys, like I say, like, I just don't get it, brother.
Well, brother, like I said, this is the message and the conversation that needs to be held among Haitians. We don't even, it's cool that folk talk to us, that's great, but this really needs to be started and begun and conducted on a regular basis among Haitians. When you all, especially those of you over here, when you make a priority of being apostles and evangelists for that among Haitians, that's when it'll change. Otherwise, it doesn't. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Look, you can't be on code, from a million miles away. If you want to proselytize and evangelize to other people, whether it's Haitians, Jamaicans, the reason y'all calling us is because you don't have a receptive audience, okay? So who gonna put in the work to do it? There's where the problem comes from. See, we don't run and we don't bend. We didn't like what was happening over here. We got our coons checked out. We got our coons in check. We didn't sit up here and say, well, niggas ain't listening. Forget about that. No, we don't do that. We get to work on it. We stand 10 toes down and we keep going at it. That's what it means to be a rider. That's what it means to be a builder. That's what it means to be the foundation. That's what everybody else is missing. If you really have a problem with that, y'all need to be 10 toes down among your people and be like, hey, the off-code mess got to go. And start being evangelists for that. You need to be the ones hosting the Twitter spaces, hosting the Facebook groups, hosting the forums and whatnot. Y'all need to be the ones doing that, not us. You all need to be the ones talking to your fellow Caribbeans, fellow Haitians, and saying, okay, let's talk about this off-code culture we got going on. Let's talk about the fact that we only got 1% of the damn beach we can be on. Let's talk about the fact that our way ain't working. Let's talk about that right there and the internal issues. Yeah, you got white supremacists here. Why are we so comfortable with it? Why are we supporting it? What's the conversation we're not having? That's the part that's missing. That part right there, because you see, when we didn't like the politics, the Black Channel has been here now going on for 2 decades. When I did not like the politics, I didn't sit here and complain about it and poke my lip out and sing the blues. I got to work on it, even though it was meager. For those of you who were there from the beginning, you remember we only had hundreds of people at the beginning. Now we got thousands. That didn't happen overnight. Are you willing to do the work and stay committed and stick with it no matter how long it takes? Months, years, decades. Is that who you are? Now, if you're that serious about it, then you're going to change things. But let's just keep it real. Most folk are trying to figure out how to get us to fix their communities for them. Well, yeah, because we've shown the commitment and the dedication to do so. No, y'all got to pick that up and start learning. That's the first part of the game you need to learn from us. So pick up your camera, pick up your microphone, and start making some spaces and doing some programs and some live streams and some Instagram lives and some TikToks where you start having some uncomfortable conversations among Haitians. You know, you got Candace Owens being the blackface of white supremacy, cooning out and whatnot. If you want to do something for us, you want to do something for the culture, you want to do something for the people, you be the Haitian voice of sensibility and being on code. That's what's necessary. Because you already know what the issue is. There is nothing that we say over here that anybody can really refute. You can't really argue with it. You can't say that we're wrong. You can't say that we're in error. You can't say we don't have the facts. You can't say that we're not historically accurate. You know what we're saying is accurate. You know it is. You know that every syllable that we said is right. You know that it's been off code as hell. Okay, that's the conversation that needs to be had among Haitians and Dominicans and Puerto Ricans and Cubans and Nigerians and Kenyans. It needs to be that. Here's the issue that we have. The issue that we have is as soon as y'all start getting together, you start hacking at each other. You get together and next thing you know, if you have a group of people, you start seeing that as an opportunity to try to take advantage of it. That's what needs to be stamped down, is that when y'all get together, you're going to have to dig in your heels, that you know that's a tendency that happens. So when you do get together, it's like, okay, now somebody going to try to come in here with the bull jive. Might be an agent, and again, might be off code cooning. But you all need to deal with your coon issue, and you got to deal with that by hand yourselves, not on our forums. You need to make Haitian forums, make Jamaican forums, make Dominican forums, make African forums so that specifically you can have those conversations. When I started doing this 2 decades ago, the Nigerians were at each other hammer and tong. Igbo, Yoruba, Delta, Husafalani. 2 decades later, they're still at each other hammer and tong. Igbo, Yoruba, Delta, Husafalani. There's been no progress. You know why? Because there is no forum where they get together and speak as Nigerians. Now, we're not going to get into what is Nigeria, who made Nigeria. We're not going to get into that. Our bigger issue is that we were the folks waving the banner of Pan-Africanism. So you see, on the continent of Africa, it shouldn't really matter because as far as the Europeans are concerned, you all niggas. The problem is, you're very proudly, defiantly, me no nigga, me Igbo. Me no nigga, me Ethiopian. Me no nigga, me Kenyan. Till a white woman show up. Hey, my nigger. Hey, Becky. Then it becomes that. No, don't get mad now. The biggest folk who defend the white folk talking about, why can't I say nigger? That's right. You can say nigger. You sure can, Becky. Those overly sensitive FBAs, damn them. You can say nigger. I give you pass. So the issue becomes that we started talking about Pan-Africanism as a continental thing, and you have other folk who will speak about it differently. Julius Malema. But they're few and far between. The part that's missing is folks signing up for that aspect of it. That's the part that's missing. So these are conversations that need to be had amongst the group. We can sit on the outside, I guess, and listen and see if things are going well. But 99% of that conversation needs to be about, okay, how in the hell is it that we're all residing in Nigeria? We all have a vested interest in it doing well, and yet we sitting here undermining over tribal grounds. What's the basis of that? How important is that? Because those white Europeans that you worship so much in Africa, the first thing they've done is dissolve their ethnic differentiations, as we already covered. Irish, Italian, Greek. First order of business was to dissolve those. So you worship them, and meanwhile, you're sitting up here holding on to that. These are conversations that need to be had among the group and start sussing those things out. How in the hell do we end up here? Why are we still perpetuating this? Who's responsible? Who the hell is going to rationalize this garbage? These are conversations they need to get together and have as a group. Making up the memes and stuff like that where they're trashing each other and things. Okay, how's that working out for you? How's that benefiting you and how's that working out? They get on Twitter, they sit up here and talk trash at us, and then you should see what they're saying in their own groups. They start doing that, and then next thing you know, it's a wrap. So no, what needs to happen is that all these other groups, you all need to be having your own programs where you have this conversation. You start talking, and then somebody sits up here and starts trying to compare themselves to us, and then got the gall to start talking about how they're doing better than us. I'm like, okay, when you show me you doing better than us on Haitian soil, I'll listen to you. You ain't got nothing to say to me otherwise. There's the issue is, okay, can you have that conversation right there? Stop trying to avoid that and let's have that real conversation about how it is that everybody else is making billions in Jamaica except the Jamaicans. They're making money in Haiti and running things except the Haitians. And have a conversation about that right there, because that's a damn shame. You're raising your daughters and proud. I want them to either marry somebody from my tribe or a white man. I mean, anything else upsets them. You come through the door with one of us, these niggas, these yakatas. This is a shame. Come through the door with Zaddy. Respectable blood. Hello, Brad. I am Somalian. It becomes that. Okay, the only difference is we started noticing that and we said, okay, we're not going to ignore it anymore. So the real issue is, can you have a conversation amongst yourselves about how that sickness has been perpetuated and what you're going to do about it? Hold each other accountable. Hold each other accountable. And have the guts to have some uncomfortable conversations in the pursuit of holding each other accountable. When it becomes socially unacceptable for you to continue doing that, because everybody's starting to get on code, but somebody is going to have to be willing, somebodies, plural, are going to have to be willing to do what we did here and invest the next 10 years into creating platforms and forums where you have that conversation about folk getting on code. And when somebody jumps up talking about they're not black, they're Jamaican, and tell them American blacks that this ain't for you, this for Jamaicans, that it is a Jamaican person who jumps up and puts the smack down and puts them back in their place. That's the ingredients that's missing. They should not be allowed to talk greasy about us. When Jamaicans start checking other Jamaicans, Haitians, and others check each other about doing that mess, now that's what changes things. However, please understand that inherent in that is the understanding that you are about to lose your white asses to kiss card. Now, you can do that, but you also understand that bundled with that is losing any opportunity to have white asses to kiss. You're going to have to give up on that aspiration altogether. And the reason they don't want to have this conversation among their group is because that's going to be a hard sell. It's going to be a hard sell, but it's a necessary one. It's a tough sell, but it's going to be a necessary one. And survival is at stake, and survival is in the offing. I want to thank everyone who has contributed to support the nice program on PayPal, Super Chat, Venmo. Shout out to Nancy King. Thank you. Thank you very much for your support, nice sister. We appreciate that. Shout out here to Ray the King. I guess no relation. All right, my man, Mr. Richburg, to Mark B, the butterfly voice. Fear to none. New B1 Media is a lifesaver. Najee. I got a bunch of folks here. Neptune Beauty. Thank you here to everybody. Cameron, Melvinia, everybody here who's contributed for tonight's program. Thank you very much for your support here tonight. If you are new here to the Black Channel, welcome to the Haven of Intelligent Black Thought. We do this every weekend, holidays, some days in between. So click that subscribe button and that notification button. Join us each and every time that we're here. If you haven't been to blackchannelfilms.com, check out our groundbreaking best-selling documentary work. I want to thank all of you for tuning in to tonight's program live or recorded. Thank you for liking, subscribing, and sharing. And this concludes tonight's broadcast of the Black Channel. I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, the Black Authority. And until next time, my brothers and my sisters from around the world, remember, Black is the future, and the future is uncompromising.